Chapter 526. The sun is blazing. Walking in the dense forest, Lin Luoran is completely lost. Damn it, the snake monster is not so kind. It plays games with her, but all the factors are disadvantageous. It has been staring at her wrist. In the end, what it takes away is not the bead, but the 6 jade plates in her hand. In this way, she loses the opportunity to teleport out of the secret land at any time. She has to abide by the rules of the game. When the snake monster's strength is low for a month, she can walk out of the Bermuda secret land by herself. Then she is thrown into this strange dense forest. Lin Luoran is furious. She doesn't have the map issued by the special department. How can she find the landmarks and go to the exit? The abyss where White Fairy's remnant soul hides, the magnetic mountain where the bat monster lives, the underwater palace where the female corpse in white stays. Well, the first 3 places she knows are not good choices. She can only find the monkey cave to refer to. It's a pity that she can't use the holy spell, listen. If she can listen to the voice of all things, she won't be at a loss. If she can find a talking monster, it's possible. Well, in fact, the monsters along the way are differentiated by their strength. The closer they are to the edge of the secret land, the lower their strength is. Can she get out of this way? Lin Luoran feels her temples buzzing. She recognizes the north and the south by the dense canopy of trees and moss. Now she is heading north. If she gets the wrong direction, she will have to turn back. After traveling for 2 days, Lin Luoran doesn't see any high-rank monsters that are not intelligent and can't communicate. They all seem to have similar strength and can speak human language. Lin Luoran doesn't know if she can find them. One day, she goes around on her sword over the mountains and sees the cold pool. She suddenly feels cold. Why did she go back to the same place? She doesn't know where the double-headed snake is, but she can't mistake this deep pool. It involves the same, female corpse mystery, as White Fairy. As soon as she enters the secret land, she subconsciously rejects White Fairy. However, at this moment, she still can't help talking to her. As soon as White Fairy gets out of the space, she checks the distribution of mountains around and her face changes. This is a natural magic circle. Not to mention Lin Luoran, if she guesses right, even the snake monster itself can't get out of this magic circle. Lin Luoran's face is a bit pale. It tricked my jade pendant and sent me out? White Fairy shakes her head. You don't have to worry about this. Without signing the blood contract, the monsters in Lost Land can't go out even if they have the jade plates. White Fairy knows the Lost Land better than ordinary cultivators. Lin Luoran once read about it in an incomplete ancient book in the Misty Peak Book Pavilion. The Lost Land is a space created by ancient powerful people to imprison ferocious monsters and devils. No matter how many generations the monsters are imprisoned in the Lost Land, they have to sign a blood contract with human cultivators to get out. Seeing that Lin Luoran is worried about losing the jade plates, White Fairy thinks for a while and decides to keep it a secret for now. The probability of gathering 12 jade tokens was too small. Saying it out loud would only cause worry. Fairy, do you have a way to break through the illusion array? White Fairy grits her teeth. The success rate is very small. Even if I can take you out, the location is not accurate. Who knows where we will end up? Seeing that Lin is confused, White Fairy thinks for a while and tells her. 1,000 years ago, I was plotted against and survived to this day with the voice of a remnant soul. My primordial spirit is incomplete and I lost a very important memory. Lin Luoran's heart skips a beat. She immediately thinks of the female corpse in white in the underwater palace. She continues to listen calmly. White Fairy herself is also confused. The Lost Land opens every 100 years. I have been here more than once. Now I have to take you out of this illusion array. The destination is uncertain. Maybe we will fall into a more dangerous place. You can't determine the scope. White Fairy shakes her head. That place may be the nest of a monster, or the bottom of the abyss that you have been to, or the exit. Gathering vitality cultivators like us would plant spiritual mind seeds in strange places. If the seeds are intact after so many years, we will appear in a place that I have been to in the past. Lin Luoran hears this for the first time. She is amazed. It is a good idea to leave spiritual mind seeds as road signs. The spiritual mind seeds belonging to gathering vitality cultivators are useless to others. Lin Luoran nods in approval. White Fairy spreads out her palms. Thousands of streams of light fly out of her palms. Like accidentally blowing away a glowing dandelion, the streams of light scatter and disappear in front of her in the blink of an eye. White Fairy doesn't show joy until a beam of white light comes from afar. Let's go. White Fairy has used the 10,000-year hollow azurite very luxuriously. Her soul of departed can already grasp the real thing. Her palm on Lin Luoran's wrist is cold but not disgusting. Keep going in this direction. Don't stop and don't look back. Then we can get out of the illusion array. Do you understand? White Fairy says solemnly. Lin Luoran nods solemnly. White Fairy drags Lin Luoran and rushes through the dense forest. They walk faster and faster. They cross streams and mountains. Lin Luoran doesn't know when they get out of the illusion array. Until the white light that has been guiding them goes out, she finds that she has been taken to a strange place by White Fairy. Does it look like a battlefield? Not far away, there is a deep pit comparable to a meteorite crater, scorched earth, a hill split from the middle, and broken swords buried in sand. At first glance, it is obvious that there are traces of cultivators fighting here, and the scale is not small. There are thousands of swords of all kinds. Some are inlaid in the mountain, some are inserted in the rocks, and some are buried under the dust, leaving only the exquisite hilts. It is more like a sword tomb than a battlefield. Fairy, where are we? Lin Luoran takes a long time to speak because of the chilling atmosphere. White Fairy shakes her head. It is strange. She has never been to this place. Why does the spiritual mind seed bring them here? White Fairy is surprised. She squats down and slowly throws away the sand on the ground. When the exquisite lines of the broken swords are revealed, her expression has changed slightly. Swords of Zhu Mountain. These are all. The broken sword White Fairy picks up is engraved with a small seal character, Yi, on the hilt. Is the Yi family of Zhu Mountain the ancestor of Yi Xiaobei? Being friends with Wen Guanjing, Lin Luoran knows about the former Zhu Mountain. The Yi family and the Wen family used to be the two largest forces in the Zhu Mountain school. However, the Yi family lost many elites and gradually declined. The last one with the Taoist root is Yi Xiaobei, who went to the Tower of Babel and got a foundation-laying bolus. Thinking of this, Lin Luoran begins to help White Fairy dig up the broken swords. Buried under the soil, inlaid in the stone wall, and inserted in the rocks, Lin Luoran finds every broken sword. They were placed on the ground in a row, dull and lifeless. Lin Luoran can imagine how dazzling these flying swords were before they were destroyed. There are 842 broken swords, and more than 70% of them are engraved with the word Yi. 2 of them are engraved with the word Wen. The elites of the Yi family all died here. White Fairy is holding an ordinary broken sword in a daze. When her jade-like fingers touch the sword, she is even trembling. Lin Luoran has never seen White Fairy like this. Sadness and despair envelop this graceful beauty. The owner of the broken sword in her hand must be a very important person to her. Zhu Mountain is a school of swordsmen. For cultivators of Zhu Mountain, flying swords are not ordinary magic weapons. Although they are not so powerful that people die when the sword is with them, the countless broken swords still indirectly show the tragedy of the battle. Lin Luoran suddenly thinks of the murals in the underwater palace. The bride wearing the sword of bright snow. Does this ordinary-looking flying sword belong to the bridegroom? Is the bride White Fairy? Broken swords don't necessarily mean anything. Fairy, there is not a corpse here. White Fairy's gloomy eyes light up. Lin Luoran is right. Broken swords don't necessarily mean the death of the person. In the worst case, even if the person lives as a remnant soul, there is always hope to meet again. At the end of the distant mountain, the double-headed snake raises its head from the cold pool. It stares at the direction where the two people leave and sneers. Chapter 527. White Fairy is silent for a long time. In the end, she only hopes to take the most ordinary broken sword with her. Lin Luoran thinks about it and digs a big pit. She buries all the other damaged flying swords and builds a real sword grave. There are many traces of the battle. However, as Lin Luoran said, there is no corpse. If the sword was swallowed by a monster, it would not be so clean. If the cultivators of the Shu Mountain sect collected the corpses and left the broken swords where they were. Did someone destroy the corpses, or were the swordsmen who participated in the battle still alive at that time, but something unexpected happened and they couldn't find their flying swords? Either way, the truth is buried in the dust of history. Lin Luoran may never know. Taking the broken flying sword that White Fairy cares about, they go on their way again. White Fairy's condition is stable now. She takes the initiative to talk about the past. In the past, she had a Taoist companion surnamed Yi. He was a genius of the Yi family of Zhu Mountain in 100 years. He had the Taoist root of single nature. The first time they met was in this secret land. At that time, he was just a bearing essence cultivator, and she was still struggling in the laying foundation period. They were both juniors who followed their masters to see the world. The world of cultivation had a clear hierarchy. Zhu Mountain was the top school at that time. Although White Fairy was a personal disciple of Misty Peak, there was a big gap between her and the male cultivator surnamed Yi in terms of status and personal ability. If they hadn't experienced life and death together in the secret land, the male cultivator surnamed Yi would not have noticed White Fairy, who was in the laying foundation period at that time. That was the first time we entered the Lost Land. The Lost Land opens once every 100 years. As the two knew each other, they entered the secret land together several times after that. Something happened to White Fairy in the 3rd year of Emperor Zhou of the Tang dynasty. Wu Mei, of the Joy School, usurped the vitality of the human emperor and went to the mortal world to be the female emperor. White Fairy was in the later stage of gathering vitality at that time, while the male cultivator surnamed Yi was about to reach divinization. There hasn't been a divinization cultivator in the world of cultivation for many years. Although the male cultivator surnamed Yi is the focus of all kinds of forces, it is not so easy to find the last opportunity. It happens to be the 3rd year of King Wu of Zhou. The Bermuda secret land opens once every 100 years. For this lost land that has never been explored by people, it is full of dangers, but it also means that it is full of opportunities. The male cultivator surnamed Yi invites White Fairy to come to secret land. He promises to his Taoist companion, who has known him for hundreds of years, that if he fails to reach divinization this time, he will become her Taoist companion. Even if he succeeds in divinization, he has to wait for White Fairy to enter the divinization period. Then the two of them can break the void and ascend together. Faced with White Fairy's persistence for hundreds of years, the male cultivator surnamed Yi finally makes a decision to stop for her. There is a word, Zhao, in his name, and there is a word, Shui, in my name. Therefore, the bright snow you got is a token of love made by mermaids' tears from all over the South Sea after he gathered vitality. Lin Luoran suddenly realizes that the double-headed phoenix hairpin is a token of love between White Fairy and her Taoist companion. She was complacent when White Fairy showed her trace. However, she never thought that it would be so difficult to make White Fairy, who has the determination of the later stage of gathering vitality, show her trace except for the token of love, which is very important to female cultivators. White Fairy touches the broken sword and smiles. Do you know how happy I was when I saw you fall into the abyss? At that time, I wanted to possess you. However, your aptitude was so poor that I couldn't do it. Lin Luoran touches her nose and smiles embarrassedly. She and White Fairy have been scheming against each other since the beginning. It is good for her to talk about it now. White Fairy thinks that the reason why she gave up on possessing Lin Luoran at that time was that Lin Luoran's aptitude was too poor. The scene she saw when dealing with the monster bat played a crucial role. She originally thought that since she let Lin Luoran go, she could use Lin Luoran to get out of the secret land and then use the method of possession. However, after sleeping for many years, when she woke up, there were no other cultivators on the earth. She also gave up the method of possession and recultivation. Let's not talk about the past between you and me. You have been cultivating for hundreds of years. There is one thing you have done better than me. With your useless physique, you gathered vitality in 300 years. White Fairy's praise makes Lin Luoran feel guilty. Without the sacred pearl, how can she gather vitality in 300 years with the environment of the earth? White Fairy seems to see through her thoughts. The sacred pearl space is just a support. I said you did well because you have never fallen in love with anyone since you began your personal ability enhancement. It is strange that ordinary cultivators cut off the mortal world and are indifferent to their relatives and friends. Only love has become an unbreakable barrier. Since ancient times, many powerful cultivators have died because of love. However, you are the only one who can't let go of the mortal world and doesn't fall in love. Lin Luoran, have you ever really loved someone? With White Fairy's personal ability in the late gathering vitality period, how many cultivators can beat her to death? The message was sent by the male cultivator surnamed Yi. If the person who ambushed her was him who almost reached divinization, it would make sense. White Fairy must have suspected the male cultivator surnamed Yi. Therefore, when mentioning the past, she smiles bitterly. However, when White Fairy finds the flying sword of the male cultivator surnamed Yi, she is sad and doesn't hide it. Lin Luoran shivers. If this is the unbreakable love tribulation that White Fairy said, she would rather never try it. Lin Luoran's stubbornness and dullness make her look a little dull at the moment. Seeing her like this, White Fairy also feels relaxed. White Fairy is in the mood to investigate the mystery of the past, but Lin Luoran is still thinking about the game of the double-headed snake. The two of them have their own thoughts and are in a trance along the way. When the flying sword passes by a water area, Lin Luoran inadvertently glances down. She is surprised to see several familiar mountains and waterways. Her fingertips tremble and she almost falls off the flying sword. An underwater palace. Lin Luoran and White Fairy wander around and come to this water area. Lin Luoran is half happy and half worried. She is happy because she has seen this water area before. After confirming several other places, she has a general idea of where she is and finally finds the general direction of the exit. She is worried that she can't escape from the female corpse in white in the underwater palace. White Fairy's closed eyes suddenly open. She looks at the surging river thoughtfully. Lin Luoran is inexplicably shocked. White Fairy smiles at her. Linny, why do I feel that you have been strange since you entered the secret land, especially here? Lin Luoran's face wrinkles like a bitter gourd. Compared with White Fairy, a gathering vitality cultivator who has fought all the way in the world of cultivation, Lin Luoran's ability to hide her emotions is still too poor. What on earth is under the water? It feels so familiar. White Fairy stares at the river and murmurs to herself. Lin Luoran is even more hesitant about whether to go forward or retreat at this time. Compared with Lin Luoran's dilemma, Mu Tiannan's situation at this time is not so good. Finally, he sneaks out of the red rock area carefully, but he is attacked by another monster. Mu Tiannan doesn't notice it and suffers a lot. According to the instructions of the old monster, when he finds the magnetic mountain with a lonely peak in the clouds, Mu Tiannan is already wounded. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Mu Tiannan looks at the magnetic mountain and then stares at the bat ring for a long time. Old monster, you let me prolong my life and I collect jade plates for you. When this is over, our deal is over, right? Before the old monster answers, the bat ring flashes with red light. A slightly young voice is very unwilling. Mu Tiannan, without this ring, how can you prolong your life to this day? Don't forget that you promised me to kill her. Mu Tiannan can't help sneering. So these barbarians are stupid. He has tried every means to live to this day just for the unwillingness in his heart. He lives just to kill her. He is not a psycho. However, it is going to be over soon. Mu Tiannan tells himself to be patient. The young voice doesn't get a response for a long time, so it can't help but get angry. The sharp pain comes from Mu Tiannan's finger. He covers the finger with the ring. This pain spreads from the finger to the whole body. The pain penetrates to the bone and affects every tactile nerve. Every time he wants to cut off the hand with the ring, but he just can't. The two beings living in the ring don't often torture him like this in more than 300 years. Because every time he feels pain, he will remember it for a long time. They will not let him go until he finishes those orders, whether he is willing to do those things or not. When Mu Tiannan kneels on one knee and wants to die immediately, another voice comes from the bat ring. Well, foreign barbarians are impatient. Let's get down to business first. With a cold snort, the young one reluctantly stops moving for a while. Mu Tiannan kneels on the ground and gasps. When the pain passes, he barely stands up and walks into a cave in the magnetic mountain. Chapter 528. Listen to me. You must calm down. Calm down first. Lin Luoran casts the water-dividing spell and turns to look at White Fairy. Faced with a dilemma, Lin Luoran thinks it's better to make it clear. At first, she tentatively asks if White Fairy and the male cultivator surnamed Yi have a wedding. White Fairy firmly denies it. Lin Luoran just forgot what happened when she was ambushed. Can a soul of departed be troubled by Alzheimer's disease? It's impossible that she doesn't even remember whether she married her sweetheart or not. Therefore, Lin Luoran makes up her mind and tells her about the mural in the underwater palace. Therefore, White Fairy, who used to curse people in classical Chinese, is furious. Exposed White Fairy is very difficult to deal with. Lin Luoran feels that facing the anger of a lady is as stressful as facing a big monster. White Fairy insists on going to the underground palace, but Lin Luoran doesn't say no. Anyway, she is not a rookie in the level of training Qi who can be bullied easily. She can't deal with the snake monster, but she can't be bullied by any human or ghost. Lin Luoran is also very curious about who the female corpse in the Crystal Palace is. Even if it is a trap, it is better to uproot it than to keep a time bomb around. Lin Luoran comforts White Fairy. She thinks to herself that White Fairy, who is both a teacher and a friend, should not let her down. After more than 300 years, the stone path under the bluestone steps is still intact. White Fairy is one step ahead of Lin Luoran. At this moment, she has reached the first mural. There were several peaks shrouded in clouds and fog, pavilions hidden in the green hills and clear waters, cultivators in ancient costumes were either drinking under the pine trees, fishing by the stream, meditating, or competing with each other in swordsmanship. A boy in black was shuttling through the forest with a medicine basket on his back, and a maid in pink was feeding the red-crowned cranes. Every movement, every flower, and every plant, the lines were simple but vivid, restoring the scene of the Mount Shu sect in the past. Facing the magnificence of Zhu Mountain in the past, this mural brought a huge impact to Wenguanjing. However, for White Fairy, it is the scenery she used to see. Her attention is mainly on the second mural. That grand wedding in the world of cultivation. White Fairy looks at the back of the newlyweds. She is trembling. It's ridiculous that I can't remember that I was a bride. But that back is mine. Even if she could mistake him for someone else, couldn't she see his own back? I know a friend from Shushan. He said that Shushan has no records of this wedding. Lin Luoran thinks what Wenguanjing said back then may be useful to White Fairy, so she mentions it hurriedly. White Fairy sneers, no wonder you used to ask me if I had Wushuang's sister. Of course, there is no record of something that has never happened. Or all the people who attended this wedding are dead. As soon as she finished speaking, both of them fell silent. They both thought about the sword tomb that they had collected 2 days ago. The Shushan sword cultivators of the past were truly nowhere to be seen, dead or alive. White Fairy doesn't stop at the third mural. After Liao tells Lin Luoran about the spiritual world, she no longer cares about where the gathering vitality cultivators went 1,000 years ago. However, the fourth mural that is erased makes White Fairy sneer. After the stone path, there was the stone door with the wooden Pai Shio sculpture. White Fairy is surprised. Come here. Draw a blood figure to suppress it. This is the second time Lin Luoran comes to this place. She finds that the eyes of the two Pai Shio wood carvings are lively, just like living creatures. It reminds her of the painted sculptures of the Xiaoxiang and Xiangfei on Mount June Island. Lin Luoran doesn't know how to draw figures, but White Fairy can. After thinking for a while, Lin Luoran follows White Fairy's instructions. The moment she bites her middle finger, the eyes of the Pai Shio wood carvings are full of vitality, as if they are about to come to life. She quickly draws two blood figures in the air and puts them into the body of the Pai Shio. The lively wood carvings become dull. White Fairy nods. She is very satisfied with the figures she draws. However, this is not a good time to explain. Lin Luoran always thinks that these blood figures are very similar to the yellow figure lines that the crazy Taoist pasted behind the painted sculptures of the Xiaoxiang and Xiangfei. The difference is that one focuses on life and the other focuses on killing. White Fairy even has the introduction of swords of Shushan. Of course, it is easier for her to know a few spells of inhibition. The stone gate opens slowly without any effort. The underground palace of the Lotus Pool, which is big enough to accommodate 1,000 people, appears again. A pearl as big as a big bowl above her head fills the room with light. The Lotus Pool is still the same, but the former blue waves give off a foul smell. Some dead branches are floating on the black water. Several acres of pink and white flowers are mixed with purple lotuses. It seems that the Lotus Pool that never blooms has been ruined. In the center of the Lotus Pool, there is a transparent crystal coffin. Several bucket-thick pythons are coiling around it. The entire underground palace is filled with a choking stench. Ignoring that the environment here is far different from the mausoleum of her, as described by Lin Luoran, White Fairy stares at the crystal coffin like lightning. There is a familiar breath in the coffin calling her. With White Fairy's eyesight, she can naturally see the scene inside the coffin clearly. She is wearing her favorite goose yellow palace dress. Her hair is like clouds, her eyebrows are black, and her cheeks are rosy. Her favorite peony is inserted in her hair. Those eyebrows, those eyes, and those lips are clearly her. White Fairy is shocked. Is it possible that her physical body was not destroyed back then? Someone actually shakes her primordial spirit out of her body and then takes over her body. With the strength of the world of cultivation at that time, White Fairy feels that it is more unacceptable than being ambushed and having her soul destroyed. Someone doesn't hurt her physical body but shakes her primordial spirit apart. Only a remnant soul escapes the net. Is there a divinization cultivator in the secret land at that time? White Fairy's heart is in turmoil, but she is very calm on the surface. She grits her teeth and says to Lin Luoran, "My physical body is in the Crystal Palace." She must be so angry that even the me that hasn't appeared for a long time comes out. Hearing White Fairy's confirmation, Lin Luoran doesn't feel relaxed. Instead, she feels more headache. The spiritual mind in the dead woman's body actually succeeded in taking over White Fairy's body. Lin Luoran escaped last time because of the help of Fire Phoenix. She is so lucky. What's worse is that she and White Fairy, two idiots, actually come to Lin Luoran again. Lin Luoran looks around vigilantly. Except for the pythons coiling around the crystal coffin, nothing has happened since they came in. "Fairy, be careful." Seeing that White Fairy is going to investigate, Lin Luoran hurriedly reminds her. "It doesn't matter. No matter what kind of ghost it is, you have sealed the two wooden pishio at the door. At least 80% of its power is sealed. Now it can't do anything to me." Anyway, White Fairy is a soul of departed with primary success. Her soul has solidified into an entity. Since she has made a conclusion, Lin Luoran doesn't stop her. The underground palace is quiet. Souls are ean and cold creatures. How can a few pythons resist them? As soon as White Fairy walks in, they all flee in all directions. The crystal coffin is as new as before. The beauty in the coffin seems to be asleep. White Fairy stands in the coffin. One is quiet while the other is moving. They look like twin sisters. White Fairy stares at the physical body in the coffin. Her expression changes. No one knows what she is thinking. The underground palace is too quiet. Lin Luoran always feels that something is wrong. She feels a chill on her back as if she is stared at by a poisonous snake in the dark. White Fairy's face is full of disgust. She holds back her disgust and touches the crystal coffin that was entangled by the python. Lin Luoran remembers her previous situation when she was possessed. She feels that it is so similar. Her mouth is dry and she is alert. Wait, she is still on the tip of her tongue when she sees the black water in the stinky lotus pond rolling. Lotus leaves sprout from the bottom of the pond. In the blink of an eye, the leaves open. The petals are white, the buds are pink, and the light purple is enchanting. White Fairy is surrounded by the beauty of the lotus. The person standing beside the crystal palace is more and more gorgeous. The faint fragrance is intoxicating. In this most beautiful department, a white light bursts from the center of the brightest purple lotus. White Fairy snorts coldly. She is about to capture this ungrateful thing. However, the white light ignores her and turns to attack Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran smiles. It is said that a scholar who has been away for 3 days must be treated differently. After more than 300 years, the spiritual mind still thinks she is a pushover and still has an obsession with her. A fire net emerges from Lin Luoran's palm and covers the white light. White Fairy thinks that thing actually occupied her body in the past. After all, Lin Luoran is in the early stage of gathering vitality. She is a little anxious. Get out of the way. After all, her voice is too late. The white light suddenly scatters like how White Fairy found the way to get out of the illusion circle. It escapes from the gaps of the dense fire net and converges into one again, aiming at Lin Luoran. In the magnetic mountain, Mu Tiannan has walked to the altar. In the smelly blood bat cave, Mu Tiannan's expression remains unchanged. Looking at the black shadow gradually condensing on the altar, he stretches out his hand with the ring. I have brought you back to this place according to the agreement. Our deal is officially completed. An unwilling voice comes from the bat ring. What about our agreement? You swore by the devil inside. Once you break the agreement, aren't you afraid that the oath of the devil inside will come true? Mu Tiannan laughs. Roddick, you have lived for so many years. Aren't you too naive? I only swore to the venerable. Whether I break the oath or not is not up to you to decide. Besides, it is just an oath of the devil inside. Do you think a person who has entered the path of monsters will be afraid? Roddick seems to be hit by a stick. He is so angry that he can't say a word. Well, stop talking. Put the ring on the altar. The Black Shadow Venerable's tone is impatient. If there is anything in common with Mu Tiannan, it is that the bloodline like Roddick is always classified as a barbarian. It will never consider Roddick's interests. Roddick is still talking. Without its consent, the bat ring that tightly locks Mu Tiannan's finger can't be taken off. The Black Shadow Venerable's patience is exhausted. He simply takes over the ring. It was so painful to wear the ring. Now it will only be more painful to take it off. Chapter 529. The seemingly ordinary bat ring is attached to the finger, but countless red thorns finer than hair extend out. These thorns are densely covered with the ring. There are exactly 206 thorns, which are the same as the number of human bones. Every red thorn is closely connected to Mu Tiannan's bones. These red thorns give him a long life, but every time the pain occurs, it can also kill him. The bat ring is being peeled off. After more than 300 years, those thorns are almost integrated with Mu Tiannan's bones. Now if he wants to peel them off again, the pain is more severe than gouging his flesh. It is like taking out a part of his bones by force. Mu Tiannan's bloodless face is frighteningly pale. There are beads of sweat bigger than soybeans on his forehead and behind his ears. His eyes are dark. With his ragged clothes, he looks very miserable without the noble air he had before. However, in the process of the bat ring slowly peeling off, even if he is in great pain, he can still find the sincere joy on Mu Tiannan's face if he looks carefully. Since he has been against the rules of the world of cultivation, he has practiced the arts of monsters with the body of a human. Although the bat ring makes him improve his personal ability by leaps and bounds, it is really a shackle for Mu Tiannan. At that time, he went to another country. If there is no accident, he will be buried in the yellow soil after a few decades. It is better to live to his heart's content. He remembers that he lived a drunken life for a few years until he met Roddick of the bloodline in an underground bar in New York. Roddick is very hostile to Huaxia people. He follows him out of the bar just to suck his blood. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. The old monster who has been hiding in the bat ring for several years wakes up and chooses Mu Tiannan, who is in a pool of mud. Do you want to get immortality? A trace of clarity flashes in his drunk eyes. Get immortality? Probably nothing in this world is really immortal. He just heard that the person has gone to a dangerous place again and it is uncertain when she will return. The difference between mortals and cultivators is that time is never equal. Maybe when she comes back, he will be drunk and stinky. So Mu Tiannan smiles. Immortality? I don't care. If you have a way to make a waste cultivate, we can talk about it. In just a few words, he had sold himself to the devil. Using the body of a human to cultivate as a demon, henceforth it would no longer be part of the human path. It wouldn't be counted as the demonic path, and it wouldn't be counted as the demonic path either. It would inevitably be rejected by the cultivation world. However, compared to the power promised by the old bat, he just wanted to live. Today, he was finally free. Mu Tiannan sees that the ring has been taken off and the red thorn is withdrawing. His twisted face finally shows a sincere smile. The Black Shadow Venerable is also waiting for the ring to be placed on the altar. It is not in a good condition. When it forcibly split its primordial spirit and attached it to the blood bat to leave the secret land, its original body was gradually consumed. In the battle between the bloodline and Lin Luoran, Heaven's Doom split its primordial spirit, which also affected its original body. The sacred bat ring of the barbarian vampires saved it, but at the same time, it split its primordial spirit. Now that the primordial spirit in the ring had formed its own body, if it didn't fuse with it soon, the second primordial spirit would probably have to establish itself. It knows everything that happened to the second primordial spirit, including the fact that it took great pains not to directly enjoy the fruit of Mu Tiannan. Instead, it asked him to collect 12 jade plates and return to the secret land. They came from the same source, so of course they had the same thought, devouring. It wanted to devour the strengthened second primordial spirit, and the second primordial spirit certainly wanted to devour the main primordial spirit while it was weak. The bat ring is placed on the altar, and the red thorn has not completely faded. The altar is to trap the Black Shadow Venerable, so it certainly can't allow the second primordial spirit to jump around. Whether the second primordial spirit is willing or not, the power of the altar forcibly combines it with the main primordial spirit of the Black Shadow Venerable. A black shadow is drawn out of the bat ring by the altar, and the battle between the two primordial spirits is about to begin. Mu Tiannan, who almost collapses to the ground in pain, grits his teeth and smiles. The ring has been placed on the altar. What's the point of holding me? The Black Shadow Venerable has no time to talk to him. Roddick, who has been suppressed by the second primordial spirit, finally has a chance to grin. Can't you see? Yellow-skinned monkey, from the beginning, you are the body furnace raised by it. You are the body prepared for its primordial spirit. How can it let you go so easily? As expected, Mu Tiannan's face changes greatly. Roddick is very happy. It is about to make some more sarcastic remarks, but it doesn't find the smile in Mu Tiannan's eyes when he lowers his head. I knew it. His voice is gentle and quiet, and his pale face is flushed with excitement, which makes him look like a down-and-out noble. Although his clothes are ragged, he is still in good spirits. Yes, when he made a deal with the devil, he knew that once he chose to be black, he would not be allowed to quit easily. Therefore, he had long expected that one day he would pay a heavy price for his freedom. The Black Shadow Venerable notices the abnormality of Mu Tiannan's mood, and the second primordial spirit also notices its momentary distraction. It wants to take advantage of his weakness to kill him. The second primordial spirit feels that this is a one-in-a-million opportunity, so it launches an attack. The Black Shadow Venerable doesn't take it seriously. The second primordial spirit has only been separated for a few years, and it wants to rebel under its nose? It is really whimsical. However, the Black Shadow Venerable thinks that Mu Tiannan has nowhere to escape, so he also chooses to attack at the same time. The thorn of the bat ring is still connected to his bones. Mu Tiannan knows that this is his only chance. The ring can't be taken off, so the only choice he has is to sacrifice himself to save the king. A rain of blood sprinkles down, and Mu Tiannan's figure has disappeared in an instant. In the pool of blood on the ground, there was an arm that was cut off at the elbow. The slender knuckles were still connected to the bat ring on the altar by red thorns. The strong smell of blood made the blood bats restless and fluttering around. The Black Shadow Venerable, who is fighting for control with the second primordial spirit, is stunned. The second primordial spirit is also stunned. After fighting for control, they certainly need a body to leave the Lost Land with the help of the 12 jade plates. However, the chosen body is willing to abandon an arm and run away regardless of the remaining blood poison in its body. Things become a little troublesome. Roddick laughs complacently in the ring. The yellow-skinned monkey tricked it, and the old bat, which is occupying the nest of a sparrow, doesn't get any benefits. How can it not be proud? The Black Shadow Venerable is fighting with the second primordial spirit while ejecting a black smoke. The bat ring is corroded and sizzling. Roddick's laughter is fading. It whispers to itself, "Crystal, look, they will kill each other." Of course, Crystal can't hear it. Roddick's voice is blown away by the wind and is almost inaudible in the sound of the bats flapping their wings. Crystal died in the heaven's doom caused by the old bat, and Roddick also died in the hands of the old bat. Maybe this is the ill-fated relationship between the Western bloodline and the Eastern bat monster? The Black Shadow Venerable kills the talkative Roddick and waves his hand. Tens of thousands of blood bats fly out of the endless cave together and follow the smell of the broken arm on the ground. They cover the sky and the sun. Wherever they go, the monsters in the secret land run away and don't dare to face them. Mu Tiannan is already 100 miles away. If Lin Luoran didn't enter the secret land with him, he would have immediately teleported out of the Lost Land and destroyed the jade plate after cutting off his arm and taking off the ring, leaving the old monster in the secret land forever. However, Lin Luoran also comes in. Mu Tiannan smiles bitterly. He can't stop the blood from his broken arm. The blood poison is destroying his body. If he hadn't cultivated as a monster with the body of a human and had a strong body, he would have killed himself in pain when the blood poison broke out. Seeing that he can't stop the blood, he has to seal the tendons and veins in half of his body. The blood has stopped, but half of his body is almost paralyzed. It is very difficult for him to move. The pursuers will come soon, right? Bats have no vision and rely on sound waves to locate. The difference between blood bats and ordinary bats is that they are born with a keen sense of blood. On his way to escape, Mu Tiannan passes through 7 pools and 3 swamps. He has taken a bath 10 times. The last time, he jumps into a quagmire to completely cover the smell of blood. Then he removes a simple flight cabin that can only accommodate 2 people from the universal pendant hanging around his neck. He moves his feet and lies on it. When the cabin door is closed, it has been 1.5 hours since Mu Tiannan escaped from the bat cave. After 3 hours, he can finally treat his wound at ease. The simple flight cabin refers to its size. Mu Tiannan's storage pendant is only a few square meters in size. It is not easy to collect this flight cabin under the watch of the old bat and Roddick day and night. It is the latest simple flight cabin developed by the Advanced Galaxy Alliance using space technology. Its petite size gives it a faster speed. The outer cabin body of the new alloy will not be damaged by the claws of blood bats. It is not easy for Mu Tiannan to get such a flight cabin with his ability. However, it is worth it. The soft brush in the cabin gives Mu Tiannan an air bath and drains all the mud and dirty water out of the cabin. Then it disinfects and bandages him. Mu Tiannan lies in the cabin and hides himself. Then he chooses to search. The flight cabin disappears. The light screen is constantly flashing with analytical data. In this lost land where monsters are rampant and the clouds of doubt are everywhere, the analysis of data becomes uncertain. A large series of question marks often occupies the light screen. Mu Tiannan is different from Lin Luoran. Obviously, he is not ready to enter the lost land in a day. In addition to the jade plate that can transmit, he also painstakingly collects the secret land maps compiled by cultivators of various countries for many years. Driving the flight cabin to the edge of many dangerous areas marked on the map, Mu Tiannan, who regains his freedom, doesn't even feel tired. In fact, his lips are pale and bloodless. What he needs most at this time is to rest. The flight cabin searches all the way. Mu Tiannan stares at the screen and suddenly some random code flashes. He feels that the flight cabin is hit by something and shakes violently. A snake head stretches over and looks at the slippery iron box. It can feel the fluctuation of the jade plate through the cold metal. Another snake head also stretches over and looks at the strange box. Then it knocks the flight cabin over without hesitation. The flight cabin shakes for a while. Mu Tiannan is about to command the cabin to rise, but the tail of the double-headed snake wraps around it tightly. You have the jade plate. The double-headed snake says the first sentence. Mu Tiannan puts his finger on the button. As long as he presses it gently, the surface of the cabin will spray strong acid. It is specially prepared for the bats. He hopes that the snake will also like it. She also has the jade plate. You are in cahoots. The second sentence of the double-headed snake makes Mu Tiannan stop. The double-headed snake shakes its head and laughs silently. Oh, you are also poisoned by the blood of the old bat. Hand over the jade plate and I will send you out of the secret land. Or do you want to be sent back to the bat cave? Mu Tiannan's remaining right hand is a little stiff. At the other end of the timeline, when Mu Tiannan is making a choice, the white light in the underground palace of the Lotus Pool has already reached Lin Luoran's eyebrows. Tonight at 8:00, the interview of Zongheng Radio will be held. I hope everyone can go and support me. You can also drop a slip of paper at the host and I'll answer your questions one by one. You can ask questions about the book or gossip. I'm looking forward to getting to know everyone better. Meow, you don't need to log in to ask questions. PS, I heard that those who participate in the live Q&A may draw a Zongheng top-up card. Bao will talk about the new book. PS, the second update will be after the interview. Chapter 530. The white light comes and turns into a stream of light to escape from Lin Luoran's fire net. Lin Luoran is also a little surprised. She quickly sets a heavy fire wall in front of her. Fire is the most lethal thing to primordial spirit. However, this white light is not afraid. When it comes to Lin Luoran's eyebrows, it is hit by a beam of light from White Fairy. The white light falls to the ground and transforms into a beautiful woman in a palace dress like White Fairy. The only difference between the two is that White Fairy prefers light yellow spring clothes, while the primordial spirit hidden in the female corpse is dressed in white and looks flawless. Her every frown, smile, and move are no different from White Fairy standing beside the coffin. Lin Luoran doesn't know what kind of lucky chance she has experienced in the past 300 years. Her soul is as solid as White Fairy at first glance. White Fairy is so angry that she laughs. Who the hell are you? The woman in white picks a purple lotus by the pond and smiles. Look at the lotuses in the pond. They are all your favorite. He collected them from all over China. Look at the crystal coffin. It was taken from the ice layer 10,000 meters deep in the polar region. It can keep the body from rotting for 10,000 years. He went down the ice layer to find it. How many people in the world of cultivators deserved such treatment from Mr. Wu Ye? Look at my face carefully. It is a famous face in the world of cultivation. Don't you understand that I am you and you are me? The woman in white's words make Lin Luoran dizzy, but it seems that White Fairy is speechless. Seeing the confusion in White Fairy's eyes, Lin Luoran really wants to yell at the woman in white. What a psycho! They are not talking about true self now. However, she has heard from Liao that cultivators who have reached a certain level of personal ability can cultivate a second primordial spirit besides the first primordial spirit. However, that should be above the divinization period. White Fairy obviously does not meet the requirements. Who is the woman in white? Fairy, don't listen to her voice. White Fairy nods to Lin Luoran. She is also a soul of departed. Once she cultivates a soul, it will take her hundreds of years to achieve the primary level. In this case, if she wants to possess again, she can only give up hundreds of years of hard work and possess again as primordial spirit. Not everyone can make such a choice. Therefore, White Fairy knows that Lin Luoran just wants to teach her a lesson, not to take over her body. How could he tolerate the fact that an evil spirit that came out of nowhere had taken the form of him and even flaunted its might in front of him? White Fairy's first move is a fierce killing move. It is the first time for Lin to see a battle between souls of departed. After condensing their corporeal bodies, their destructive power was no less than that of cultivators of the same level. Moreover, because they could materialize their bodies from the void, they would often be able to teleport away before an attack could land on them. Light and shadow fluctuate. White Fairy and the female corpse in white are mainly fighting. Even though Lin Luoran wants to help, she can't aim accurately. At this moment, the dead woman in white is standing there. The next second, White Fairy will be the next one. In order to avoid accidental injury, Lin Luoran has to gather her strength and prepare to give the female corpse a fatal blow. She was not afraid of ordinary flames, but what about the golden runes? Lin Luoran's fingertips move slightly. When she is waiting for an opportunity, a slight noise comes from the stone door. A black shadow was thrown in. Lin Luoran takes a closer look and finds that it is Mu Tiannan. His current state is quite different from what he saw on the sea. His exquisite clothes are tattered, revealing his scarred skin. More importantly, one of his arms is broken at the elbow. The bandaged wound is still oozing blood. He is in a semi-conscious state. Get out, he seems to be trying to stay awake. He barely stretches out his only arm to grab Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran still remembers the palm on the sea. She steps back vigilantly. Mu Tiannan smiles bitterly. He fails to grab Lin Luoran and he collapses on the ground. The game is not over yet. Why do you want to go out? The double-headed snake crawls slowly along the stone path. Its body has shrunk several times, but it can barely crawl freely on the stone path. It seems to be laughing at Mu Tiannan's useless work. It deliberately crushes Mu Tiannan's wound with its heavy body and then sneers, "As you wish, I bring you to this female cultivator. Little monster, where is the last jade plate?" Mu Tiannan is in pain and gasps. This snake monster is vicious. It says it is a deal, but in fact, it forcibly tore up his storage space and snatched the jade plate. If he hadn't hidden the last jade plate, the snake monster would have brought him to Lin Luoran. Unfortunately, the last chance to escape is lost because Lin Luoran doesn't trust him. Mu Tiannan feels that he deserves it. Facing the snake monster's interrogation, he remains silent. Lin Luoran looks on coldly. She doesn't know what Mu Tiannan and the snake monster are playing. On the other side, White Fairy has taken the initiative to stop fighting when she sees the snake monster coming in. She stares at the female corpse in white and says slowly and firmly, "You are Bai Ji." White Fairy is stunned and then smiles happily. "First school sister, you are still as smart as before." Bai Ji probably doesn't need to pretend anymore because she has been exposed. With a flash of light, she shows her true face. The female cultivator with the flowing white gauze has picturesque eyebrows. If you look closely, you will find that her eyebrows are somewhat similar to White Fairy. However, she is a little shorter, which makes her look petite and lovely. White Fairy is like a peony while Bai Ji is more like a rose under a bamboo fence. One is graceful and the other is delicate and pitiful. She seems a little mean. Fairy? Lin Luoran frowns. It turns out that she is not a twin or a split personality as she guessed. The other party is actually White Fairy's school sister. White Fairy is even more shocked at this time. When she had an accident, Bai Ji just advanced to gathering vitality. How could she do such a thing? She even suspected Yi Zhao, but she never thought that the one who plotted against her would be the little school sister who had always loved Yo Jia. White Fairy feels very ironic. Bai Ji is not only her school sister but also both of them are from the Bai family. Strictly speaking, they are cousins who have a close blood relationship. Therefore, Bai Ji and she are also somewhat similar. You don't deserve to call me school sister. Bai Ji, it's you. What on earth did I do wrong to her? Why does she hate me so much that she wants to kill me? Is it because she wants to occupy my body? White Fairy doesn't understand. Bai Ji's appearance is not bad. At that time, she was also one of the two beauties of Misty Peak. Bai Ji laughs, "School sister, how can you always put on an innocent look? Yes, you are a pure fairy in the world of cultivation. Master loves you and gives you the best exercises and the best resources for personal ability enhancement. Mr. Wuye secretly helps you and helps you clear the obstacles of personal ability enhancement. I need to take a trial to be recognized. However, you have been cultivating for hundreds of years and you have little blood on your hands. Am I worse than you in aptitude? I don't need you to pretend to be nice to me." White Fairy feels that Bai Ji's words are easy to understand, but she is confused when she puts them together. Bai Ji seems to have been depressed for hundreds of years. Now that she is seen through by White Fairy, she vents out all her emotions. "I don't accept it. Bai Qingxue, I don't accept it. It's okay that the master likes you. However, I fell in love with him first. I have liked him for hundreds of years. In his eyes, there is only you, a hypocritical woman. Well, since he likes your face, then Bai Ji will be Bai Qingxue." The hatred emanating from her bones makes Lin Luoran shiver. It probably has something to do with the male cultivator surnamed Yi. Seeing that White Fairy is so shocked, it must be because of Bai Ji's plot. Lin Luoran feels that the love between men and women, in addition to the love disaster mentioned by White Fairy, can also be possessed by demons and obstacles. She can't imagine that she and Baojia like the same man. She will never touch the man of her sister. Bai Ji is hateful. In addition to plotting against White Fairy, Lin Luoran also feels that Bai Ji has lost the face of all women in the world. What bullshit, school sister. Bai Ji doesn't deserve such a relationship at all. The expression on White Fairy's face changes again and again. She is almost scared out of her wits because of such a ridiculous reason. The jealousy of a school sister. Lin Luoran's pursuit of the Tao is ruined at the late stage of gathering vitality because of this snake-like jealousy. She feels sad and ridiculous. So you want to replace me as the master of Misty Peak and marry brother Yi Zhao? Bai Ji, you are ridiculous. You occupied my body and still ended up like this today. You fight for it, but you end up with the same result as me. Haha, it's ridiculous. Bai Ji's eyes are red. She is as cold as a poisonous snake. Lin Luoran sees that Bai Ji is very close to the snake monster. Her heart skips a beat. Why is Baiji not afraid of the snake monster? Thinking of the endless snakes when she escaped from Baiji for the first time 300 years ago, Lin Luoran has a very bad guess. On the other side, Mu Tiannan tries hard to cheer up and approaches Lin Luoran little by little. The snake monster doesn't know whether it is watching the show or thinking of some insidious ideas. Since White Fairy calls out Baiji's identity, it has been watching quietly. The atmosphere in the underground palace is solemn and depressing. The fragrance of lotus in the pool can't suppress the panic in people's hearts. Dongting City is shrouded in the clouds of war, on the second floor of the Ma's villa. Liao, who is in a coma, has a fever and talks nonsense since 2 days ago. The 4 young people are very worried. Even Hu Ji, who is proficient in pharmacology, is at a loss. Lin Luoran suddenly loses news again. The war is about to start. They don't know if it will affect the Earth Federation. Liao can't get rid of his fever, which makes the 4 young people exhausted. When Lin Luoran and White Fairy are trapped in the underground palace, Liao's body is burning. After struggling for a while, Liao suddenly sits up from the bed and shouts. Chapter 531. Does Baiji have the ability to force White Fairy's primordial spirit out and then occupy the nest? Baiji is so close to the snake monster, but she is not worried at all. Lin Luoran suddenly realizes that it is a lie to say that there is nothing going on between Baiji and the snake monster. Lin Luoran glimpses at Mu Tiannan on the ground. Whether he attacked on the sea or now, his eyes are frank and complicated. There is no intention of harming anyone. Of course, Mu Tiannan's situation must be weird. A mortal without the Taoist root can live safely to the new era. Obviously, the life-prolonging technology of advanced civilization can't explain it. The monster power in Mu Tiannan's body is also hard for Lin Luoran to ignore. She looks up and happens to meet the double-headed snake's eyes. The mockery in the snake's eyes is self-evident. Lin Luoran moves her eyes to Baiji and says slowly, "You have colluded with the monster for a long time before I entered the secret land for the first time?" "No, it should be before White Fairy, right?" Lin Luoran's tone is very sure, which finally makes Baiji look at her in surprise. Lin Luoran says again, "Not only that, the snake monster said it wanted to play a game. Let me make a bold guess. We are still in the game, right?" White Fairy adds, "The illusion circle is created by nature. It is too easy to get out. There is something wrong. The biggest problem is that they are still in the territory of the snake monster. Whether it is the previous twists and turns or the secret method to break out of the circle, everything they have experienced may be false." White Fairy murmurs to herself, "Is the sword tomb also false?" Lin Luoran feels that the sword tomb may be the most real among all the false. The most perfect deception should have 9 truths and 1 falsehood. Since the snake monster can't do this, of course, it must arrange the most real evidence. Something must have happened to Mr. Wu Ye. Otherwise, after Baiji took White Fairy's body and got everything she wanted, how could she be willing to let herself fall into this situation today? If Baiji hadn't found the sword of Mr. Wu Ye, White Fairy wouldn't have sighed. Lin Luoran herself wouldn't have taken the initiative to tell White Fairy about the underwater mausoleum. It was truly interlocking and pressing forward step by step. The snake monster and Baiji have just learned that White Fairy is still alive as a soul of departed. In a short time, they set up a seemingly real trap to tease Lin and White Fairy. "You spent so much effort just to lure us to the mausoleum?" Lin Luoran is confused. White Fairy looks at Mu Tiannan on the ground and suddenly understands. It wants to get the last jade pendant. After saying this, he looks at Lin Luoran apologetically. In a few words, he explains to Lin Luoran the record that the big monster trapped in the secret land can get out after collecting the 12 jade plates. When the snake monster asked for the jade plate, White Fairy didn't have a chance to express her opinion. It's useless to explain it to Lin Luoran later. However, White Fairy really doesn't expect that the snake monster actually finds Mu Tiannan. It seems that the snake monster has collected 11 jade plates. They are still standing here and dawdling, which probably has something to do with the last jade plate. White Fairy stares at the half-dead Mu Tiannan angrily. She blames him for leading the snake monster here and forming a two-sided attack with Baiji. However, she doesn't know that Mu Tiannan also wants to cry but has no tears. The moment he was thrown into the mausoleum first was the best time to let Lin Luoran out. Now even if he still hides a jade plate with him, how can he find a chance to let Lin Luoran out? A jade plate can only let one person out. Maybe a monster like him should stay in the Lost Land with other monsters. If he doesn't live, he will die. Mu Tiannan has already realized this. Since White Fairy has figured it out, Lin Luoran certainly can. Mu Tiannan hides the last jade plate. The only possibility is to save Lin Luoran. Otherwise, with the jade plate in hand, he can seize any fleeting opportunity to teleport out of the secret land. Why does he have to risk his life? Thinking of this, Lin Luoran looks at Mu Tiannan with a somewhat complicated expression. However, this is not a good time to talk about the old days. Baiji and the snake monster are staring at her fiercely. Lin Luoran doesn't know what they are planning. Lin Luoran may need time to prepare for the next trick. If she wants to escape, she needs more time. After thinking for a while, she takes the initiative to say with a bitter smile, looking at the current situation, you can't let us go no matter what. It doesn't matter if our souls are destroyed. You should at least know what happened, right? Before the snake monster speaks, Baiji has already covered her mouth and laughs. Baiji's plan to occupy the dove's nest is perfect. Maybe it is the most proud thing in her twisted life. White Fairy, the person she wants to show off the most, is the first one to bear the brunt. White Fairy is not dead and has changed to a soul of departed. Baiji needs to defeat this imaginary enemy. As soon as Lin Luoran finishes her words, Baiji has already started to talk. Lin Luoran listens to her and checks Mu Tiannan's status. Master Mu, can you hold on? Hey! She whispers to Mu Tiannan. Mu Tiannan's twisted face with blood and pain miraculously softens. Baiji, on the other hand, was proudly talking about the Millennium Residence. In Lin Luoran's understanding, it can be summed up as a story of, if you raise the rice, you will be grateful, but if you fight for the rice, you will be hated. An ungrateful girl named Baiji is brought into her school by her sister. The Bai family in the countryside has 2 gathering vitality cultivators. Before they have time to bless the descendants of the Bai family, Baiji has already plotted against the new head of Misty Peak. Baiji is 10 years younger than White Fairy. At the age of 17, she was introduced to Misty Peak by White Fairy, who went back to her hometown to visit her relatives. Because of her outstanding Taoist root, Baiji became another disciple of the head of Misty Peak. Because she missed the best time to enter Taoism, Baiji has a hard time every time she makes a breakthrough. The head of Misty Peak often asks her to go on adventures in order to make up for her mental state. Unexpectedly, the method of advancement specially designed for her is set off by White Fairy's smooth personal ability enhancement. Baiji has unconsciously become hostile to Baiji. White Fairy is her school sister and they are from the same family. White Fairy usually takes good care of Baiji. Baiji has a radical mind. She believes that it is because White Fairy feels guilty. She introduced her to Misty Peak too late to make up for it. Baiji doesn't think that when White Fairy first entered Misty Peak, she was also a child. Because of her hard work in personal ability enhancement, she laid foundation after 20 years. Then she was allowed to return to her hometown to visit her relatives. Before that, how could she have the opportunity to find out that her sister has the Taoist root and introduced her to Misty Peak? If there was hostility before, the real crack is obviously after the appearance of Mr. Wu Ye. White Fairy and Yi Zhao met when she entered Secret Land with her teacher for the first time. As the little apprentice of the head of Misty Peak, Baiji has no reason not to come when the Secret Land opens once in 100 years. Yi Zhao has good talent and high personal ability. He comes from a famous family, which attracts the admiration of many female cultivators in the world of cultivation. At that time, White Fairy doesn't even dare to look at Yi Xiao, a senior bearing essence cultivator. However, Baizhi has never moved her eyes away. Speaking of which, White Fairy is dignified and generous, but she is very well behaved. Baizhi looks pitiful, but in fact, she is very brave and courageous. White Fairy and Yi Xiao know each other, so she gets involved. White Fairy and Yi Xiao can be familiar with each other because of her help. In the end, the indifferent Yi Xiao falls in love, but it is not her who is the most active. It is White Fairy. Zhu Mountain School has high hopes for Yi Xiao, who has a single Taoist root. How can they let him be trapped by love? Although White Fairy is the heir of Misty Peak, the head of Zhu Mountain School doesn't like her. Zhu Mountain School doesn't want Yi Xiao to find a Taoist partner, so they forbid the two from seeing each other. At that time, Baizhi had a good relationship with the daughter of an elder of Zhu Mountain School. She often volunteered to be the contact person between the two. She has tried to do bad things and create melodramatic misunderstandings. However, Yi Xiao is extremely stubborn. Since he can't be a Taoist partner with White Fairy, he wholeheartedly pursues the Tao. He doesn't care about Baizhi's explicit hints. Baizhi likes to steal things from White Fairy like a little flower. Yi Xiao doesn't accept her tricks. Influenced by Yi Xiao, White Fairy also wholeheartedly cultivates. If things stay like this, Baizhi will be unreconciled at most and curse White Fairy secretly. However, after 200 years, the head of Zhu Mountain School fails to go through nature's doom and dies. Yi Xiao becomes the boss of Zhu Mountain School. Without the control of elders, he can finally become Taoist partners with White Fairy. As soon as they resume their relationship, Baizhi goes crazy first. Unwillingness and jealousy, plus her love for Yi Xiao, make her even recommend herself to sleep with him. After being reprimanded by Yi Xiao mercilessly, she has to restrain herself on the surface. Mr. Wu Ye and White Fairy become the lovers admired by everyone in the world of cultivation. Both of them are obsessed with personal ability enhancement and have the same goal. Naturally, they set the same goal, divinization and immortality together. At that time, Yi Xiao was already in the late period of gathering vitality, and White Fairy's personal ability was a little lower. Yi Xiao studies the notes of his ancestors. There are few examples of successful divinization in nearly 1,000 years. He suspects that something went wrong, so he buries himself in the sea of jade slips, trying to find a safer shortcut. In the end, Mr. Wu Ye decided to sneak in. That is a bold idea of someone. No one knows where the senior cultivator who came up with this idea succeeded. The life lamp he left continued to burn for 300 years after he ascended. No matter why he died in the end, at least the smuggling plan was successful at that time. Yi Xiao had two plans at that time. One was that White Fairy's personal ability enhancement went smoothly, and it would be best for them to divinization together. His personal ability has reached the last step before divinization. Excessive suppression will only make Heaven's doom more powerful and increase the chance of failure. Yi Xiao has to start the second plan at the same time, which is to investigate the node of smuggling. That node is in the center of Lost Land. The predecessor who succeeded in smuggling believes that the weak node between worlds must be in the extradimensional space between the two worlds. Lost Land meets this condition. It is said that in the center of Lost Land, there is an ancient mythical beast. The existence of the mythical beast is to block the node connecting worlds. Yi Xiao believes it, so he says to White Fairy that they will officially become Taoist companions and invites her to Lost Land together. Yi Xiao's words are full of hints, indicating that the two are likely to find an opportunity to ascend to immortality in Lost Land. White Fairy takes all the resources she has collected in her life and the important treasures of her school. After entering Lost Land, she entrusts the double-headed phoenix hairpin, Bright Snow, to Baizhi. If she can't go back safely, Baizhi will be the new palace lord of Misty Peak. However, White Fairy doesn't know that Yi Xiao's action of collecting ancient books and asking senior cultivators in Zhu Mountain have been seen by someone. The daughter of an elder of Zhu Mountain who has a good relationship with Baiji reveals the news to her. Baiji knows more than White Fairy, who is kept in the dark. If White Fairy dies, she will get Misty Peak, but she will never get Mr. Wuye. Baiji has a terrible idea. It would be great if she can replace White Fairy. However, with her personal ability in the early stage of gathering vitality, it is impossible for her to deceive Yi Xiao. When she is mad with jealousy, she accidentally walks into the territory of the double-headed snake. The snake monster's eyes flash with cold light. It tempts her. Chapter 532. The snake monster's request is very simple. It helps her achieve her wish. After she gets out of Secret Land, she needs to collect 12 jade plates for it. Baiji is skeptical and she doesn't say everything. However, the snake monster intercepts the message sent by Yi Xiao. It takes Baiji to ambush on the way. White Fairy passes through the ambush circle and loses her life inexplicably. White Fairy has a treasure of Misty Peak with her. That's why she is lucky enough to escape from the snake monster's eyes. The snake monster gives Baiji a spirit fruit with a strange appearance, indicating that she can achieve her wish after swallowing it. Baiji looks at the intact body of her school sister. She is shocked that she actually puts her thoughts into action. And what the snake demon meant was for her to take over his body. If she wants to replace her school sister, the most convenient and reliable way is naturally to live as Bai Qingxue. Baiji and her school sister get along day and night. She almost knows everything about her, including her habits and behaviors. However, from now on, she will give up the name Baiji and spend her life acting as Bai Qingxue. Baiji hesitates as soon as she calms down. The snake monster looks at her with a faint smile. It feels that the human race is really strange. She has worked so hard to do something. If she hesitates at the last moment, it can't find the primordial spirit of the female chi trainer. Besides, how can she easily regret making a deal with a monster? Baiji has cultivated for hundreds of years. Naturally, she is not a naive girl. There is no turning back. She takes the fruit and her primordial spirit fluctuates. She seems to soar to a height of 10,000 meters. When she wakes up again, she is already attached to Bai Qingxue's gathering vitality. Baiji's body withers quickly. The fruit makes her and her school sister's gathering vitality perfectly fit. However, it takes away the vitality of flesh and blood in a very domineering way. There is no turning back in this life. After all, Baiji is in the early period of gathering vitality. It is very difficult for her to control the late period of gathering vitality. Possession is against nature and personal ability enhancement. Although Baiji's primordial spirit fits the new body perfectly, her realm eventually falls. White Fairy's gathering vitality in the late period can't be kept. She almost falls below the gathering vitality period. Yi Xiao receives the message and rushes over. White Fairy looks sad. She and her school sister Baiji mistakenly entered the territory of a powerful monster. She was injured and her level dropped. In order to create a chance for her to escape, Baiji died on the spot. She didn't even bring her body out. Yi Xiao rarely sees White Fairy being so fragile. He feels a little grateful to Baiji, who he looked down on before. Lin Luoran feels a little regretful that he can't sneak in, but he still takes White Fairy out of Secret Land first. White Fairy's power has plummeted, so her plan to sneak into the world of heaven naturally cannot be carried out. Baiji imitates White Fairy's every move vividly, but the special feeling between lovers disappears. Mr. Wu Ye is very meticulous. He always feels that White Fairy has an indescribable sense of strangeness after being injured. He probes her several times, but Baiji doesn't give herself away. Yi Xiao suppressed his doubts and looked for good medicine for Baiji. At that time, Zhu Mountain was very powerful. It had 5 of the 12 jade plates, and the other 7 were scattered among various schools. It was extremely difficult for Misty Peak to collect them. Baiji occupied the body of a sparrow. The snake monster had a backup plan for her possession. For cultivators, 100 years passed in a flash. When the next secret land is opened, she must collect 12 jade plates and give them to the snake monster. Fortunately, as Baiji's personal ability recovers, Yi Zhao has the idea of sneaking to the world of heaven again. This time, he doesn't want anything to happen. He collects 12 jade plates with both carrot and stick, preparing to leave the opportunity of opening secret land to Zhu Mountain. If Zhu Mountain cultivators don't work together, they can't reach the center. No matter whether his plan is successful or not, Zhu Mountain cultivators can observe it on the spot. They can also gain experience or take warning. White Fairy's level dropped because of Baiji's possession. Yi Zhao has been suppressing his divinization for 100 years. Heaven's doom is full of variables. This time, he can only choose to sneak into the space node. 12 jade plates are gathered together after Zhu Mountain makes some concessions and compensations. As the opening date of Bermuda is approaching, Yi Zhao suddenly proposes to hold a wedding with Baiji. Yi Zhao has a cold temperament. He has not been very close to Baiji in the past 100 years. At this time, he suddenly says that he wants to hold a wedding. Baiji is a little nervous, but she readily agrees after hearing that the wedding will invite all the famous orthodox schools and individual cultivators in the world of cultivation. In the beautiful spring, the wedding is held in the beautiful and lively Zhu Mountain. When Yi Zhao personally inserts the sword of bright snow into her hair, he swears by the devil inside that as long as his primordial spirit doesn't disappear, he will never betray Bai Qingxue. Baiji has been White Fairy for so many years. At that moment, she is so happy that she feels dizzy. She firmly believes that she is Bai Qingxue. Zhu Mountain is lively for 3 days before the wedding banquet ends. However, it is said that gathering vitality cultivators have disappeared one after another in the world of cultivation. Yi Zhao wants to check it, but the secret land of Bermuda is about to open. He can't wait for another 100 years. On the night of the wedding, thunder rumbles and lightning flashes in Zhu Mountain. Baiji waits for Yi Zhao in white. According to the tradition of Huaxia for thousands of years, white is forbidden in weddings. The shyness on Baiji's face condenses. Yi Zhao stares at her for a long time. The next moment, Baiji sees Yi Zhao smile for the first time. Mr. Wu Ye is cold in speech and heart. He is a famous cold-faced person in the world of cultivation. She has seen him smile before, but she thinks that the faint and almost imperceptible smile belongs to her school sister. Since she occupied the nest, it is the first time that Yi Zhao smiles at her. This smile is so sincere. The immortal like Yi Zhao is enough to make flowers bloom in Baiji's state of gathering vitality. However, the smile stops abruptly at the most intense moment. Baiji. Yi Zhao seems to have some evidence. He stares at her eyes with extreme certainty and adds, "Where did you take your school sister?" 1 second, she is still in spring. The next moment, a basin of cold water pours on Baiji's heart. School sister, I'm fine, of course, Bai Qingxue doesn't have a school sister, but Baiji does. Yi Zhao sees all her facial expressions at that moment. He is more and more sure of his guess. Baiji, tell me, what did you do to your school sister? Baiji wants to refute, but Yi Zhao never changes his mind. She thinks for a long time but doesn't know where she gave herself away. Yi Zhao gently spits out a name. It is the daughter of the elder of Zhu Mountain School who Baiji was good friends with. After Baiji occupied the nest, she doesn't dare to let Yi Zhao see her real body. However, the daughter of the elder of Zhu Mountain School regards Baiji as a real friend. She is very sad for her death. Baiji is afraid that the truth will be exposed. Naturally, she will no longer contact her former friend. However, she has been traveling between Zhu Mountain School and Misty Peak. She has been acting cautiously in front of Yi Zhao for a long time. It is inevitable that she will be careless on other occasions. Her former friend has seen her inadvertent little tricks several times in a row. They are very similar to Baiji, who is said to have died in the Lost Land. Bai Ji feels guilty for occupying the dove's nest. Few people in Misty Peak mention Bai Ji. Everyone in the world of cultivation knows how much White Fairy loved her little school sister. Bai Ji died to save her, but she is not sad. The daughter of Elder Qiao never thinks that Bai Ji occupied the nest. She simply thinks that the death of Bai Ji has something to do with White Fairy. White Fairy is the only one who can find out the truth and get justice for her friend. She is investigating White Fairy, but Yi Zhao doesn't understand it either. The two forces surging in the dark of Zhu Mountain School collide. Comparing the two, how can Yi Zhao still not understand the truth? 100 years ago, what he brought back from the Lost Land was not his beloved Taoist companion, but Bai Ji, who had evil intentions. Bai Ji died because of the fall of the realm. The person who really died is Qingxue. Yi Zhao is powerful, but he can't bear this kind of blow in a short time. In order to send the injured, by Qingxue, to the upper land safely, he stayed in the human world for more than 100 years. It becomes extremely ridiculous. The anger of being deceived and the pain of losing his lover make Yi Zhao decide to hold this wedding. A cold-hearted person has no bottom line when he is heartless. Bai Ji wants the identity of Bai Qingxue and Mr. Wuye's Taoist companion, so he pushes her to the highest point. The wedding of the head of Zhu Mountain School in the world of cultivation invites guests from all over the world. Yi Zhao regards the wedding as a gift for the real Bai Qingxue in his heart, so he is very serious in the preparation. The world of cultivation only thinks that this couple finally has a happy ending. He also only thinks that the person beside him is Qingxue. After the wedding, Yi Zhao changes out of the red dress and reveals his true colors to Bai Ji in a white dress. The daytime is still the happiest moment for Bai Ji. The vanity of congratulating from all over the world pushes Bai Ji to the highest point of her life. However, he wants to pull her down from the highest point and make her fall into the mire. Yi Zhao's narration is calm, but Bai Ji feels cold after listening to it. Bai Ji has seen the strong contrast between Yi Zhao's indifference to others and his gentleness to White Fairy. When she belonged to the category of others, she hated his coldness. When she became the White Fairy, his indifference to others made her feel more proud of Yi Zhao's warmth. She never knows that in addition to indifference, Mr. Wuye can be cruel. He can kill a person without any bloodshed. He can completely destroy a person's heart. Yes, Yi Zhao is not only a genius in cultivation, but he can also be selected as the new head of Zhu Mountain School. If he doesn't have courage, how can he manage such a huge Zhu Mountain School? Yi Zhao's courage is that he can calmly give up the opportunity to ascend to immortality and take Bai Qingxue to the upper land. His courage can make him stay for his Taoist companion for 100 years because he is strong. This man looks cold but has a strong heart. Is he really not someone she can covet? But why can Bai Qingxue get him? Bai Ji can't suppress her crazy smile. School sister, I died 100 years ago. Yi Zhao, what's the use of inviting all the people in the world of cultivation to watch the wedding? School sister can't come back. The one holding the wedding with you is always me, Bai Ji. It's the expected answer. Yi Zhao doesn't get angry but smiles coldly. Bai Ji, don't you understand? I marry Bai Qingxue. The entire world of cultivation is a witness. Qingxue is dead, and you will accompany her. The only thing I don't understand is that with your personal ability in the early stage of gathering vitality, how can you succeed in possession? But I will find the answer myself. Yi Zhao still refuses to ascend to immortality. Although it is dangerous to go through doom, in terms of personal ability, he can actually be regarded as the first person in the world of cultivation. He wants to deal with Bai Ji. The method of extracting her soul makes Bai Ji's expression change greatly. The pain of the primordial spirit being torn is thousands of times clearer than the pain added to the physical body. Bai Ji is in so much pain that she wants to die. With the state of mind of gathering vitality, she also wants to destroy her primordial spirit. Yi Zhao pulls out her primordial spirit and traps it with a group of strange fire. Bai Qingxue's current situation is very strange. She has a heartbeat and pulse. Her blood flows as usual, but she has no soul. She is a real living dead. He wants to find out the truth, but he also hopes for the 1 in 10,000 chance of survival. He personally goes to the extreme north and takes the warm ice jade, which is like a crystal. It can keep the body from decaying for thousands of years. He makes it into a crystal coffin and places Bai Qingshue's body in it. Gathering vitality cultivators who come to the world of cultivation disappear one after another. Although the storm has not affected Zhu Mountain, Yi Xiao doesn't know what the road to the secret land will be like. In order to leave a way for Zhu Mountain, he embroidered the general instruction of Zhu Mountain's sword on Bai Qingshue's dustproof treasure dress. Within a month, the world of cultivation spread the news that the new wife of the head of Zhu Mountain, White Fairy, the Misty Peak's palace lord, had a problem during cultivation. She was seriously injured and couldn't be cured. Head Yi personally invites the elites of the school to enter the secret land to seek medicine for White Fairy. Zhu Mountain's sword cultivators come out in full strength. They fly to the Sea of Bermuda on their swords. Yi Xiao opens the secret land with 12 jade plates in his hand. He places the coffin containing White Fairy's body in the underwater palace. He plants all kinds of famous lotuses in the world for her. He hopes that the fragrance of lotuses will accompany her every day. One day, she may have a chance to wake up and see the best scenery at first sight. Yi Xiao surrounded Bai Zhi's primordial spirit with strange fire and also placed it in the underground mausoleum. He will not let Bai Zhi go easily. He also wants to find out the force behind Bai Zhi. Only in this way, he may have a chance to find Bai Qingshue's primordial spirit. Yi Xiao's arrangement is perfect. Except for Bai Qingxue and Zhu Mountain, no one can enter the underground palace. 2 wooden pixiu are the mausoleum guarding beasts he arranged. 12 jade plates are gathered. How can the snake monster not feel it? Not only it, but many grand monsters in the secret land were also alarmed. However, the power of Zhu Mountain made all the grand monsters whose strength was in a slump had to stay away. It was extremely difficult to snatch the jade plate from Yi Xiao. The snake monster has a lot of evil ideas. It probably guesses that these human chi trainers come out in large numbers for the primordial spirit that it shattered 100 years ago. This makes the snake monster very upset. It is just a human female cultivator. If it had known that she is so important, it would have caught her at that time. It is 1,000 times faster than playing games with Bai Zhi. However, time can't be reversed. The underground mausoleum where White Fairy's body is placed is a mausoleum guarding beast of the Taoist master Taoism of the human race. It can't get in, so it can only secretly follow Zhu Mountain with other powerful monsters. It runs through most of the lost land, hoping to find a chance to kill them. 1 month is about to pass. Yi Xiao is frightened by the monsters chasing closely behind him. He can't figure out who killed Bai Qingxue. Time waits for no man. He can only hope that Bai Qingshue's primordial spirit can return to her body one day. The unexpected event happened one afternoon. Swordsmen reacted one after another. They felt a huge pulling force affecting them. They even couldn't control their flying swords well. The force is huge, soft, but unquestionable. It is going to suck them into the sky. Yi Xiao is secretly shocked. He remembers the crazy disappearance of gathering vitality cultivators in the world of personal ability. He doesn't know the relationship between the two. A colorful halo appears in the sky, and the space crack suddenly appears. Even the monsters following far away are shocked. Zhu Mountain immortals of sword resist this huge force one after another. The flying swords are gradually broken. However, they are sucked into the crack under Yi Xiao's eyes and disappear. Yi Xiao's personal ability is the highest. He can barely compete with the suction. In a hurry, he only has time to grab the nearest Zhu Mountain disciple next to him. Before he can do any rescue action, Yi Xiao's expression has changed greatly. Competing with the huge force reveals his true strength. The divinization doom he has delayed for a long time comes without any warning. He forces himself to calm down. Before the monsters come up to grab the jade plates because they are afraid of heaven's doom, he gives all the 12 jade plates to the surviving Zoo Mountain disciple. He only has time to say, "Underwater mausoleum," and then he is kicked out of Secret Land. The Zoo Mountain disciple leaves with the jade plates. Mr. Wuye becomes the first cultivator to cross the divinization doom in Secret Land. All the monsters are stunned. Did he cross the doom? Baiji's primordial spirit is trapped in the underground palace and suffering from the burning fire. She doesn't know what happened to Yi Xiao and others in Secret Land. She can tell so much because the snake monster adds speculation. This love and hate story has lasted for thousands of years. Even Lin Luoran is fascinated by it. However, at the most critical moment, the snake monster's story stops abruptly. White Fairy's mind is disturbed and she asks unconsciously. Time is the best way to cover up the truth. The whole thing is complicated. It can be regarded as a 1,000-year puzzle of the world of cultivation. If it weren't for the narration of the two people involved, White Fairy would never know the truth in her life. She once suspected that her Taoist partner betrayed her. When she met the Sword Tomb, she was worried that Yi Xiao would have an accident. Suddenly, she heard that Yi Xiao had the divinization doom at that time. White Fairy's heart even ignites hope. Her desire for Yi Xiao's whereabouts even makes her temporarily forget that the enemy who caused her to end up today is in front of her. What she wants to know most is whether Yi Xiao succeeded in crossing the doom that day. The snake monster laughs proudly. Obviously, it doesn't want to tell White Fairy what happened next. Baiji says bitterly, Yi Xiao was meticulous, but he didn't expect that he harmed the swordsman of Zoo Mountain School. He also faced the divinization doom and didn't know whether he could survive or not. It's ridiculous that he still took the trouble to build this extremely solid crystal coffin that can only be exited but not entered. As expected, your primordial spirit came. However, you can't leave this mausoleum today. So, you contacted the double-headed snake. It should be more than 300 years ago when Guanjing and I opened the mausoleum on our own, right? Lin Luoran sighs. Baiji laughs happily. People who think they are smart are always divided into groups. Bai Qingxue also asked you to temporarily seal the wooden pixiu, didn't she? Thanks to you guys, I can get out of the confinement of the crystal coffin. Bai Qingxue, the wooden pixiu is indeed set up for me, but it is to guard against me. You are too smart for your own good. You finally taste the taste of failure. No, you completely lost more than 1,000 years ago. White Fairy is so angry that she is about to fall. She barely controls her emotions and shouts, Baiji, I call you school sister for the last time. Tell me, has Yi Xiao passed the doom successfully? Baiji just smiles. Lin Luoran feels that her brain has been abnormal since more than 1,000 years ago. Lin Luoran doesn't place any hope on her. Instead, she looks at the snake monster. You waited so long just to let us know the truth. The snake monster smiles mysteriously, Shoo, don't worry. It should be here soon. Chapter 533. A huge force hits the top of the mausoleum, and tiny cracks appear on the solid dome of the mausoleum. In a moment, the mausoleum will be broken and the river will destroy it in an instant. The double-headed snake snorts coldly. It swings its long tail and swims out first. Before leaving, it doesn't forget to roll up the defenseless Mu Tianan with its tail. Baiji stomps her feet and follows the double-headed snake. Lin Luoran and White Fairy look at each other. They can't figure out what the snake is playing. However, it is true that the mausoleum is attacked by a third party. They have to leave as soon as possible. In a hurry, Lin Luoran puts the entire crystal coffin into space. The body of White Fairy lies in it. She can't leave it in the mausoleum with rocks. White Fairy nods at her with gratitude in her eyes. When Lin Luoran and White Fairy get out of the mausoleum and break out of the water, a pair of eyes are always staring at her. It seems to confirm that she is still safe, and the intimidating pressure instantly converges. The double-headed snake throws Mu Tian Nan on the rocky beach of the river. It has returned to its original appearance. Its thick and long snake body is like a small hill. Confronting the double-headed snake is a huge tortoise. The tortoise is also an old acquaintance of Lin Luoran. When she came to the secret land of Bermuda for the first time, she had a glimpse of it in the depths of the sea. The second time she entered the secret land, she was also attracted by it. The earth element is boundless. It may not be a sea turtle, but a mutant of the earth element. The tortoise doesn't mean to hurt her, and its eyes also make Lin Luoran feel inexplicably intimate. In such a confrontation, she stands behind the tortoise with White Fairy without hesitation. Facing this move, the tortoise's eyes are full of praise, and its face becomes soft. The double-headed snake's tail beats the ground in a strange rhythm. You really came. The big turtle ignored it, and the double-headed snake continued to say, it said that gathering 12 jade plates can free us prisoners. Without your permission, who doesn't know that it's a joke? The Lost Land opens once every 100 years. During this month, the strength of the demon race has been reduced to the lowest level. You don't have a good time either, do you? In the past years, you could freely enter and exit the Lost Land. Every time you didn't hide, the monsters who wanted to trouble you couldn't do anything. However, as soon as I saw that bead, I knew that you would not avoid it this time. Black Tortoise, am I right? You're a lackey of the human race and a traitor of the demon race. This big turtle is a black turtle. Is it here to help me enter the secret realm? Lin Luoran feels a little weird. Maybe it's because of the bead on her wrist. As the wearer, she can not only cause the crisis like the fake saintess and the snake monster's scheme because of the bead, but also get the blessing of Black Tortoise's help. Is it because of the previous owner of the beads? Except for the spiritual mind meeting and peeping in dreams, Lin Luoran has never really seen Momo. However, Momo's shadow is everywhere on her path of personal ability enhancement. Her feelings were complicated. She was an independent individual and did not want to live forever under the shadow of Momo. Even if it was a beautiful and cheerful little girl, it was not her. The double-headed snake seems to see through Lin Luoran's thoughts. Its two snake heads intertwined and it said in a bewitching tone, "Female chi trainer, don't think that this damn turtle is here to save you. It is here to save the bead. You don't know that it followed that human girl at that time. It was 100 times more flattering than you, ha ha ha." Lin Luoran frowns. Sure enough, it is still because of Momo. Is it also because of Momo that it keeps a souvenir for her robe that always responds to her? Lin Luoran suddenly feels that her life has fallen into some kind of illusion. The little girl named Momo seems to have arranged her life many years ago. Then who knows whether Momo is manipulating her words and deeds now? Don't listen to it. Spirit treasure in the world, even if it is as precious as the bead, is also a dead thing. I come to help you just because of you. Little girl, you are a person worthy of help. Black Tortoise spoke for the first time. It was as mellow and gentle as Lin Luoran imagined. It soothed Lin Luoran's self-denial and restless state of mind. White Fairy didn't know the cause of the matter. She nodded. You are indeed a rare fool in the world of cultivation. However, if I could choose, I would rather a fool like you be my sister. People who were too smart were either good or evil. Lin Luoran's character hit a hot-blooded factor that was easy to be regarded as a fool. Such a character was not as cold as her appearance. It was like a flame wrapped under the ice. Once it broke out, it was always full of uncertain factors. Therefore, Lin Luoran was easily incited to do things that were inconsistent with her personal ability and state of mind when she used things she cared about as a weapon. However, compared with Baiji, White Fairy felt that it was the most reassuring to deal with people like Lin Luoran. Baiji knew what White Fairy meant. She just pretended not to hear it and stood quietly behind the snake monster. No one knew what she was thinking. Black Tortoise said again, "In fact, I don't need to help you. You may be able to defeat this snake monster." The brave were invincible. Now was the weakest time for the mighty monster in Secret Land. Lin Luoran was just prejudiced by the inherent impression. She felt that she couldn't defeat a primitive monster. She was timid and didn't even try. This timidity was buried in her soul unconsciously. If Black Tortoise didn't point it out, it would cause great harm when she advanced sooner or later. Hearing Black Tortoise's affirmation, Lin Luoran became confident. How should I do it? Unconsciously, she regarded Black Tortoise as a trustworthy elder and naturally discussed with it. She put aside the power of the snake monster as if it was just a scene of daily teaching. What she was asking was just a sword move that she couldn't master for a long time. Black Tortoise smiled. You actually have the answer in your heart, don't you? Lin Luoran was stunned. Black Tortoise knew her so well. If she could deal with the snake monster, the first thing that came to Lin Luoran's mind was, golden word figure. In addition to the golden word figure that could change the color of heaven and earth, she couldn't think of anything else that could be the nemesis of primitive monsters. Lin Luoran had closed her eyes. The blatant contempt made the snake monster angry. When the snake had attacked, Black Tortoise waited for it to get close. Then it opened its mouth and spat out a black and yellow air, forcing the snake monster to dodge awkwardly. The snake monster was shocked this time. Even though Black Tortoise's strength would be weakened like them in this month, its strength was still above all monsters. How could it be possible? It remembered that Black Tortoise's talent was not so good at that time and its bloodline was not pure. Was it just because it served the man in a linen robe with a vague face? The snake monster was so angry that it gritted its teeth and looked ferocious. The fact was obvious. Since Black Tortoise could defeat it and let it talk so much nonsense, it was obvious that Black Tortoise was also delaying time like it did before. The snake monster delayed time before in order to lure Black Tortoise out. It calculated that it cared about something and couldn't let loose. Black Tortoise was delaying time at this time. There was only one answer. It was waiting for this female chi trainer of the human race to grow up. It was afraid that it would be used as the cornerstone of the trial. The snake monster was sensitive to the atmosphere around it, suddenly had a sense of killing. It twisted its body uneasily and wanted to escape. However, Lin Luoran with her eyes closed had already moved. She raised her white wrist and her eyes were confident and happy. When the wind blew Lin Luoran's dress and long hair, the snake monster saw another person's shadow through her for a moment. That was the only existence it was afraid of after living for countless years. Such an illusion made the snake monster forget to escape for a moment. White Fairy also moved. She teleported in the direction of Bai Ji and Bai Ji instinctively dodged. White Fairy smiled and rolled up Mu Tiannan, who had been ignored for a long time on the riverbank like a rag. Then she went back to Black Tortoise. The undisguised mockery in White Fairy's eyes made Bai Ji suffocated. She and Bai Ji had a lot of time to settle scores. At this time, she wanted to make sure that Lin Luoran could focus on the battle. Since Mu Tiannan was Lin Luoran's old friend, White Fairy couldn't let him go. Lin Luoran was threatened by the snake monster. Mu Tiannan had to stay with them. I need fire. Lin Luoran murmured. While talking about her needs, her fingers seemed to play some kind of music in the void. She drew lines with a beautiful frequency of freehand brushwork. Those lines were the language of communicating with the law of heaven and earth. The little female cultivator mastered this language and could also communicate with the superior law. She said she wanted fire and the law of heaven accepted her request. The fire came out of nowhere and formed a cover with no way out, trapping the snake monster in it. The chi trainer it despised gave a big gift to the snake monster. The flame made its primordial spirit trembled. With a muffled hum, the snake monster had to shrink its huge hill-like body. When it shrank to the size of an ordinary python and tried to break through the fire, the crackling sound of the snake scales being roasted could still be heard. The solid snake scales protected the snake monster's body, but the flesh and blood under the snake scales were put in an iron stove. The heat was gathered in the snake monster's body. It felt that its cold blood was surprisingly hot. Baiji was also engulfed in a smaller ball of flame. Unlike the torture of the snake monster, Lin Luoran just directed the flame to trap her. It seemed that she wanted to let White Fairy deal with her. The sudden appearance of the flame was so miraculous that other than targeting the snake demon and Baiji, the lush green grass under the flame did not suffer the slightest damage. Lin Luoran was also a little surprised to see that she trapped the snake monster as she wished. If she wanted to refine this primitive monster with only the flame, 1 month was not enough. She didn't know what to do next for a while. What else do you need? Black Tortoise tempted her at the most appropriate time. Lin Luoran's heart skipped a beat. Monsters were afraid of fire for a long time. Ancient humans slept in the open air and lit bonfires to deter monsters. However, for monsters, fire was only deterrence and torture. What they were really afraid of was the punishment from the Tao of nature. Lin Luoran understood, I still need thunder. What she needed was the thunder doom of heaven and earth. Lin Luoran's fingertips moved again. The frequency changed from the freehand landscape splashing ink to the strong and impactful gorgeous color of oil painting. The beautiful and relaxed movement became a high-pitched and intense march, which seemed so shocking under the sky. Thunder and lightning were accumulating power in the changing sky. Monsters in the secret land were wondering who was so free to challenge the rules of the secret land. White Fairy was trembling slightly. That was the natural fear of thunder doom as a soul of departed. Black Tortoise was gratified. Lin Luoran's growth in the past 300 years was enough to make it gratified. Lin Luoran said she needed thunder, so the purple thunder really fell. The thunder column flashed with blue electric arcs and fell on the snake monster surrounded by the fire. Every time the thunder struck, the snake monster screamed. Every time the thunder struck, it also consumed the meta in Lin Luoran's body. That was the inevitable consumption of talking with the law of nature. With the personal ability of the gathering vitality period, the power of thunder and lightning was not comparable to the real heaven's doom. However, it was not difficult to cut off the double-headed snake's personal ability. The double-headed snake twisted in pain. 10,000 years ago, it was caught because a human girl said, "Lock it up," in a sweet voice. In fact, it didn't suffer too much. It was afraid of the man in robe, but the ability of the man in robe always refreshed its imagination. The double-headed snake didn't know if it should be lucky that the man in robe didn't kill it himself. This was the last thought that came to its mind. Then its ocean of consciousness turned into a chaotic fog and finally closed completely. Monsters could only learn to cultivate after they developed their own intelligence and finally transform into human beings. Lin Luoran beat the double-headed snake back to the time before it developed its own intelligence. Her meta was also exhausted. Her right hand that was writing the golden character drooped down powerlessly. The double-headed snake was beaten back to its original body. Without personal ability to protect itself, it couldn't stop the fire. The snake's body was burned into ashes. It fell to the ground and broke into several pieces. Strangely enough, the jade plates that were taken away by the snake monster were not found. Chapter 534. Black Tortoise swallows Baiji's primordial spirit, which is trying to escape. It then carries the tired Lin Luoran on its back. Seeing that White Fairy is a little hesitant, the old tortoise generously asks her to come up. White Fairy is not pretentious and takes the half-dead Mu Tian-nan with her. In fact, Black Tortoise doesn't like Mu Tian-nan, who is half demon and half monster. However, it reluctantly takes him along for the sake of Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran lies on the broad back of the tortoise and slowly recovers her meta. Black Tortoise rides the waves of the river at a speed that looks slow but is actually fast and stable. After swimming along the river for a while, Black Tortoise climbs ashore. It is very familiar with the terrain in the secret land. With the speed of Black Tortoise, it soon comes to the miasma-filled pool of the snake monster's nest without taking detours. Lin Luoran immediately understands that Black Tortoise is here to find the jade plate taken by the snake monster. The nest of the double-headed snake is deep in the poisonous pool. The whole pool is bubbling black from time to time. The slightly boiling water exudes a foul smell. People will feel dizzy if they stay on the shore for a long time, let alone looking for the jade plate in the cold pool. The poisonous miasma is only on the surface. No one knows what is hidden under the water. After all, this is the nest of the double-headed snake. White Fairy volunteers as a soul of departed. Lynn Luoran's meta hasn't recovered yet, so she nods and agrees. Even Black Tortoise almost secretly agrees. It naturally doesn't want a group of people around Lynn Luoran who only know how to enjoy convenience without making any contribution. White Fairy looks no different from a real person, but her actual body is composed of energy. It is a better choice for her to go into the water. After waiting for a quarter of an hour, White Fairy still doesn't come back. Lynn Luoran is a little worried. She recovers some strength, but she doesn't feel good looking at Mu Tiannan's half-dead appearance. Especially his broken hand, which is bleeding all the time. Lynn Luoran doesn't know where so much blood comes from. After thinking about it, she pulls out a ginseng from the space. After washing it, she cuts it into pieces and puts it into Mu Tiannan's mouth. The bitter ginseng liquid goes down Mu Tiannan's esophagus. The coldness caused by the blood poison is beaten back by the rising warmth. He has some strength and opens his eyes reluctantly. What he sees is Lin Luoran's face. Mu Tiannan's lifeless eyes brighten a lot. Seeing that Mu Tiannan is awake, Lin Luoran refines the whole ginseng into liquid medicine with bolus fire and feeds it to him. After a while, Mu Tiannan is able to stand up. Maybe it is because of the ginseng liquid or because of Lin Luoran's care, Mu Tiannan is able to stand up. However, the first thing Mu Tiannan does after regaining his mobility makes Lin Luoran frown. A sharp nail popped out of the index finger of his undamaged hand, flashing with a sharp cold light. Then, he used the nail to cut across his injured arm, revealing a blood-stained jade tablet. This is the last jade plate that the snake monster can't find. In a hurry, Mu Tiannan hides it in his broken arm and wraps it with flesh and blood to avoid the snake monster's search. Seeing Mu Tiannan wiping the blood-stained jade pendant with one hand on his ragged clothes, Lin Luoran suddenly feels suffocated when she remembers the calm and unrestrained playboy she met for the first time. This is a very strange emotion. Lin Luoran feels that it is more than pity and sympathy. I didn't mean to hurt you on the sea. I couldn't help it. Don't blame me. Mu Tiannan feels that the jade plate is clean enough, so he hands it to Lin Luoran. He explains in a low voice, but he doesn't seem to be very confident. Lin Luoran is not familiar with such a careful, guilty and flattering Master Mu. She has to change the topic, I know. Let's check your wound first. Mu Tiannan's wound is very troublesome and difficult to deal with. Lin Luoran finds that the red threads that blend with the bone and blood are destroying Mu Tiannan's vitality in an extremely overbearing and insidious way. Lin Luoran intercepts several blood vessels in his broken arm with her meta, but she can only stop the bleeding. She can't cure the symptoms for the time being. She wants to ask him what happened to him, but the poison pool has already moved. White Fairy breaks out of the water and returns. Lin Luoran doesn't know what happened to her in the pool. Her spiritual body seems a little dim. She puts 11 jade plates on the ground, along with 2 weird red fruits. She says with some regret, there is a trap underwater. It's a pity that I only got the jade plates and 2 fruits back in a hurry. It seems that the snake monster's collection is rich enough that even White Fairy is a little tempted. However, Lin Luoran doesn't care about this. After putting away the jade plates, she looks at the 2 fruits. The cold and weird red reminds Lin Luoran of the cold eyes of the double-headed snake. Monsters like to choose a certain spirit plant to guard and enjoy the ripe fruit. Monsters are no exception. Thinking that these red fruits are probably the kind that the snake monster once gave to Bai Ji to help her possess, not only White Fairy, but also Lin Luoran feels a little disgusted. Just when Lin Luoran doesn't know what to do with the 2 red fruits that White Fairy snatched back, Black Tortoise, who has been watching, says, let him eat it. It can control the blood poison. Of course, it refers to Mu Tiannan. Lin Luoran feeds him a red fruit as it says. Mu Tiannan's face is distorted in pain as if he has eaten poison. However, his broken arm miraculously stops bleeding. Lin Luoran asks Black Tortoise what the blood poison is. Black Tortoise is not very patient with Mu Tiannan's question, so it only asks Lin Luoran to ask Mu Tiannan. Things are too complicated to explain. Mu Tiannan is not ready to confess everything. Lin Luoran puts this doubt aside for the time being. Black Tortoise doesn't know where to take them, so it asks White Fairy to come up quickly. White Fairy is a little hesitant. Although she has regrets in her heart, she doesn't dare to act rashly in front of this mysterious Black Tortoise. She obediently gets on the back of the tortoise. Lin Luoran sees through White Fairy's worries. She coughs twice. Senior, do you know that the first cultivator who went through the divinization doom in the Lost Land succeeded? Black Tortoise does know, but it doesn't answer immediately. Instead, it changes the topic. If you do one thing for me, I will tell you. Isn't it just a little cultivator going through the divinization doom? What it wants to tell her is far more than that. Lin Luoran can't figure out what she can do for Black Tortoise. However, from the first time she saw Black Tortoise, she never doubted that it would harm her. A tortoise, a human, a half-monster, and a soul of departed. For strange combinations swagger through the Lost Land, attracting the attention of monsters along the way. However, as soon as they show up, those who know a little about them know that they are jailers and run away faster than rabbits. In fact, after being locked up for so many years, many monsters have washed away their hostility. If cultivators taking the trial don't provoke them, they live a peaceful life and don't even bother to move. Not every monster is as obsessed as the old bat or the double-headed snake. Black Tortoise doesn't stop until they arrive at the Gobi where the sandstorm is severe. Lin Luoran doesn't expect that there will be a Gobi in the Lost Land. As soon as she jumps down, she can see a few scorpions quickly hiding in the rock crevices. Black Tortoise walks silently. It throws Lin Luoran on the Gobi, pointing to the rock mountain ahead and telling Lin Luoran to find a tangerine tree and bring it back with its roots. Looking for a tangerine tree in the Gobi? Lin Luoran feels that either Black Tortoise is abnormal or she has a bad hearing. Lin Luoran can't figure out what kind of weird tangerine tree will choose a rock mountain to grow on. She pinches her nose and admits that nature is creative. However, Black Tortoise is very serious and even White Fairy can't go with it. It insists that Lin Luoran goes up the mountain alone. Black Tortoise insists. Lin Luoran has to go to the rock mountain alone under the worried eyes of Mu Tiannan and White Fairy. Lin Luoran's figure shrinks into a small dot in the sky. Without Lin Luoran to change the atmosphere, White Fairy and Mu Tiannan get down from the tortoise's back and wait quietly in the Gobi. Until the black dot, representing Lin Luoran, suddenly disappears, Black Tortoise suddenly says, "You don't deserve her." Both White Fairy and Mu Tiannan are stunned. It doesn't make sense, but both of them understand. The former has a similar experience. The head of Zhu Mountain School just thinks that she doesn't deserve Yi Zhao. After so many years, the two finally get together. However, they end up like this because of a series of mistakes and conspiracies. Mu Tiannan is no stranger to this. Yes, he knew that he didn't deserve her a long time ago. Because she is the mainstay of the cultivation world of Huaxia. He is an ordinary person without the Taoist root who will die of old age. After hundreds of years, he still doesn't deserve her. She gathered vitality and became the god of faith of the Earth Federation. This is the most obvious side. He colluded with monsters. He is a half-monster and half-demon. He can only hide in the dark and plot. He is stained with darkness that can't be washed away. Mu Tiannan suddenly feels a little bleak. His love came suddenly many years ago. Lin Luoran just patted him, but somehow it sprouted and took root in his heart. It has become an obsession for many years. Those hypocritical literati in the new era say that the depth of love is not how good she is to you, but how much you have done for her. Mu Tiannan has never gotten a response. However, year after year, he is possessed by the devil of love. Seeing that he is silent, Black Tortoise seems to be in a better mood. It continues to say, in your case, even if she has a way to build the Taoist route, it is not suitable for you. As a half-monster and half-demon, you will either be possessed by the devil or be rejected by the world. You'd better give up as soon as possible. Black Tortoise's words are reasonable. Even though Mu Tiannan wants to refute it, he has no confidence because it is just his unrequited love. He can't say anything. He can only tightly purse his lips and say nothing. There is still blood on his face. The setting sun of the Gobi Desert makes Mu Tiannan look cold and indescribable at this moment. Together with his broken arm, he forms a strange and breathtaking beauty. White Fairy says lightly, no matter what Linny thinks, an outsider has no right to interfere. Although these words are short, they are obviously helping Mu Tiannan. Black Tortoise smiles and doesn't make any more comments. When the horizon of the Gobi Desert swallows the last light of the setting sun, Lin Luoran wobbles to the foot of the mountain. Because she doesn't know what she will face, she accelerates to restore meta all the way. Besides, she doesn't relax on the way to the Gobi Desert. The Reiki in the Lost Land is rich, so 80% of her meta has been restored. Standing at the foot of the mountain, Lin Luoran is confident. She goes straight up the mountain on her sword. Her eyesight is good enough to see at night. This rocky mountain is very barren and the field of vision is extremely wide. Lin Luoran flies all over the mountain in a short time. Unexpectedly, the orange tree that Black Tortoise asked her to find is very easy to find. The other side of the rocky mountain is very steep. A huge nest made of firewood is next to a dead big tree root. A golden orange tree grows next to the nest. The abundant gold Reiki makes Lin Luoran's heart beat faster. Plants are woody and nature's power is unpredictable. However, there are very few spirit plants of the gold series because the sharpness of gold will hurt the vitality of plants. This is the first time that Lin Luoran has found such a pure variant of the gold series. How can there be no spirit beast to guard such a variant? Lin Luoran is alert and narrowly avoids the sharp blade behind her. Chapter 535. The night is hazy. Only cultivators with good eyesight can recognize the thin golden blade 3 inches deep into the rock layer. Its body is a golden wing. Lin Luoran feels familiar with the golden texture coming out from the inside. Her heart seems to be gently pinched by someone, and it beats slowly. She is looking forward to and afraid. A name is rolling on the tip of her tongue, tossing and turning, but she can't say it. She calmly looks at it. A big golden eagle is standing on the old root beside the firewood nest. There is a majestic crown on its head. A pair of golden gray eyes are staring at her, full of alertness and indifference. It is an adult golden eagle. Lin Luoran is a little disappointed. There is no sense of contract. Its indifferent eyes show that it is not her Goldie. Lin Luoran remembers Black Tortoise's request to bring back the kumquat tree with its roots. It seems that she can't bring back the kumquat tree if she doesn't get rid of this adult golden eagle. The golden mutant that looked like a tangerine was obviously the natal spiritual seed guarded by the golden hawk. Is Black Tortoise helping her gather the gold of the 5 elements? Lin Luoran takes a deep breath. In the month when the secret land is open, the strength of all monsters is weakened to the weakest. According to the previous experience of dealing with the double-headed snake, she knows that it is definitely not the personal ability of the divinization period without any comparison. They are limited to below the divinization period. Lin Luoran feels that for thousands of years, there is no divinization cultivator among the human cultivators who can come in. To deal with the double-headed snake, Black Tortoise can help her. To deal with the golden eagle, she can only rely on herself. Will she succeed? These thoughts are very complicated. In fact, from Lin Luoran dodging the golden feather blade, seeing the appearance of the opponent, and confirming that it is not her Goldie, it is just a few breaths. The golden eagle is obviously also looking at and judging at the same time. It regards Lin Luoran as an intruder who covets its spirit treasure at a faster speed. To be honest, since the new era, the earth cultivators have migrated. There has been no trace of human cultivators in the secret land for 300 years. In the past 1,000 years, those who enter the secret land are all small cultivators. The golden eagle underestimates Lin Luoran, who is in the gathering vitality period. In particular, the one in front of it is not a simple gathering vitality female cultivator. Which word should it use to deal with the monster of the gold? Wind, rain, thunder, lightning, ice, frost, snow, fire, and gravel are rolled up from the ground. There has never been such a strong wind in the Gobi. When the wind is mixed with sand, the gold hawk suddenly finds that its vision, which it has always been proud of, is disturbed. The air is full of tiny particles, and some gravels hit its body. The golden eagle suddenly finds that Lin Luoran's breath has disappeared. No, it would be more accurate to say that she had vanished into thin air. Out of vigilance against the human race, the golden hawk spreads its wings based on intuition, preparing to escape from the strange wind. Looking down from the sky, it is more conducive to its performance. The gravel and sand hit its golden feathers and make a thunderous sound. The gold hawk is about to fly. Thinking of Lin Luoran who has disappeared, it feels uneasy. This is a trap. Lin's gathering. The human knows. At the moment of hesitation, it feels that a cold water column is poured down from the top of its head. Lin Luoran hides in the sacred pearl space so that the golden eagle can't find her. At this moment, she has no time to care about the anger of the golden eagle. She moves her wrist and wants to write the word, frost, before it can react. The golden eagle's eyes are cold. It flaps its wings and the golden sword feathers shoot at Lin Luoran like raindrops. The distance between the human and the eagle is too short. The speed of the sword feathers is too fast to be seen by the naked eye. Lin Luoran dodges awkwardly. She can't escape into the sacred pearl space again. In this round, she has been forced to lose the initiative by the golden eagle. She barely dodges but her limbs are cut. The sharpness of the golden feathers easily cuts through the protean dress she has worn for many years. Her right hand is especially injured. Her shoulder is seriously injured. Two beautiful clothes, but their defense was trash. Lin Luoran only has time to sigh. The golden eagle attacks again. The crown on its head shakes and it spits out a blazing white flame. Lin Luoran is stunned. She has raised a golden eagle before. How can she not know the power of white flame? She believes that even black tortoise which she can't see through will have to avoid the white flame spat out by an adult golden eagle. However, because of her understanding of the golden eagle, Lin Luoran feels the crisis and God also gives her an opportunity in the crisis. She knew that when that light flame, which could destroy both her body and primordial spirit, touched something, it would be covered with a strange layer of ice in a very short period of time. Lin Luoran doesn't fight back with fire. In a hurry, she writes in a cold word, ice is formed from the subtle vibration of her fingertips. She needs a solid ice wall. The law extracts her meta and gives her a generous reward. An ice wall suddenly appears and blocks the white flame. The contempt in the eyes of the golden eagle disappears. The white flame contains high temperature and it melts the ice wall quickly. The speed of thickening the ice wall can't keep up with the melting. Soon there is only a thin and fragile layer of ice wall left. However, Lin Luoran stops ice confidently. The cold stroke changes and the loud and intense thunder movement reappears. When the white flame spat out by the golden eagle turns into ice, the two ice walls collide with each other. The thin ice wall on Lin Luoran's side can't support and splashes. Lin Luoran has already called thunder. She needs thunder. Thunder and lightning fall and the ice wall in front of the golden eagle is smashed. Ice debris splashes everywhere. Lin Luoran is injured, but the Golden Eagle is not necessarily better. The most important thing is that the thunder and lightning from the ninth heaven has finally fallen. The water droplets on the Golden Hawk have become an excellent conductor for conducting electricity. In addition, its physique is gold. To put it simply, it is like a metal rod covered with water. When the thunder and lightning hit it, dazzling blue electric arc sparks burst out. The Golden Eagle spits out a mouthful of blood with a cry. There is golden powder in the blood, which makes the eagle's blood look terrifying. Lin Luoran's body is also stained with a little eagle's blood. When it is stained with the wound on her body, it feels hot with a tingling sensation. She didn't expect that the Golden Eagle is more difficult to deal with than the double-headed snake. The latter seems to be afraid because Black Tortoise was there at that time, so it was caught off guard by her. The cross-rank challenge makes Lin Luoran exhausted. The meta in her body has not been exhausted yet. However, in the Battle of the Golden Sword Feather, her shoulder is the most seriously injured. Finally, her hand tendons are injured. After barely writing the word, thunder, she has no strength and can no longer attack. The Golden Eagle is also exhausted by an electric shock. One person and one eagle land on both sides of the firewood carving nest. Coincidentally, Lin Luoran is the closest to the golden orange tree. As long as she struggles to raise her hand and smear the blood of the Golden Eagle on the orange tree, the law of space will work. It will automatically absorb the soul of Jinling Eagle into space, just like absorbing the wood wolf. When she transplants it into the golden orange tree, the space will be filled with the gold of the 5 elements. If there is no such a hearty fight, if it is not the Golden Eagle that can't move in front of her, if it is before the appearance of Black Tortoise, when she thinks the monsters in the secret land are all heinous, she will not hesitate to absorb the soul of the Golden Eagle at this moment. However, the wood wolf was the one who attacked her first. The pain of soul stripping is still vivid in her mind. However, the Golden Eagle is the one who takes the initiative to come to her. Such a monster must have developed intelligence early. It is also a meticulous work of nature. Just because she needs it, does it have to sacrifice its life for her? The crown on the head of the Golden Eagle is a little scorched by the thunder. It seems to understand that its death is inevitable. It stares at Lin Luoran for a long time and suddenly says coldly, "Treat it well." Treat who well? Lin Luoran suddenly raises her head. She has an intuition in her heart. Is the Golden Eagle is talking about Goldie? It is Goldie's blood relative. Lin Luoran feels confused. It is hard to imagine how to face Goldie in the future. The Golden Eagle sneers, although the personal ability is too poor, its temper is not bad. You don't have to worry about it. The old tortoise has talked to me long ago. Such an ending is a good one for a wicked monster like me. The rise and fall of Tao of nature and the accumulation of merits and virtues actually don't move it. However, as a father, the old tortoise said that the gathering of the 5 elements is a blessing for its descendants, that is its only bloodline inheritance in this world. The Golden Eagle family has been silent for too long. It really needs a strong guarantee so that its family and its bloodline can get rid of the shackles of this lost land and fly to a wider and wider world for it to see the spiritual world above the mortal world, the new immortal world above the spiritual world, and whether there is a real heaven beyond the immortal world that can live as long as the sky and be free and unfettered. It is imprisoned in this lost land, unable to advance and lonely for thousands of years. Maybe death is the real relief. According to Black Tortoise, its death will allow it to transcend life and death in another way and achieve Tao. Lin Luoran will believe the old tortoise for the time being. The Golden Eagle shakily stands up straight and carefully combs its feathers. It seems to be very dissatisfied with the discolored crown. When it barely recovers 70 to 80% of its majestic appearance, there is a flash of golden light. A golden bead the size of a pigeon egg is spat out from its mouth. That is not monster bolus. Goldie will refuse to use such a bloody thing even if it is given to it. This is just the energy condensed by its thick gold energy. As soon as Lin Luoran sees its action, she knows that the golden eagle actually wins this fierce battle. With her current strength, even if she uses the golden word figure, she is no match for it. At this time, she understands something once it is explained. Xiao Jin is good at speed. Even if the gold hawk is no match for the golden word figure, it can still avoid the attack when she is riding the figure. However, the golden eagle doesn't dodge. Its life and death seem to have reached an agreement with Black Tortoise. This fierce battle with her was nothing more than a trial, even though it knew it was going to die. Just like when Black Tortoise helped her to deal with the double-headed snake. Black Tortoise is creating opportunities for her to fight and learn from the mighty. The golden eagle throws the gold energy bead beside Lin Luoran and closes its eyes without any attachment. After a long time, a miniature shadow of a golden eagle appears on its head. It flaps into the kumquat tree. As for its physical body, it stood upright in its original spot. It had died after it leveled up. Lin Luoran picks up the gold energy bead and puts it away solemnly. She touches the kumquat tree with her palm stained with the eagle's blood. The tree disappears together with its roots and appears beside the pool in space. 4 elements of the 5 elements gather. Space is about to usher in a great change, and her personal ability will also be improved. But why doesn't she feel happy at this moment? The power of gold is deeply rooted in space, drilling into the soil, hiding in rocks and underwater, turning into a rich metal mine. The invincible gold makes Lin Luoran weak. She is covered with blood, and tears appear in the corners of her eyes. Of course, there is the sorrow brought by the suicide of the golden eagle and Lin Luoran's self-doubt. When her life falls to the bottom of the valley, she suddenly embarks on the road of personal ability enhancement. Every time she is in a crisis, she has a benefactor to help her. She is manipulated by invisible fate to move forward along a fixed track. Her family is missing, but she must collect the 5 elements to reunite. Was everything she had experienced just a script arranged by someone else? Living like a puppet is what she originally asked for. Is it the freedom to travel the world and the joy of singing in the mortal world? Lin Luoran feels that gold energy wraps around her. There are huge mineral deposits in the depths of the Gobi. It is hot, short of water, and there is no vegetation. However, it is the place with the strongest gold reiki in the Lost Land. Here breeds the phase identified as wrong kumquat by the space computer. This place is chosen as the habitat by the golden eagle. The chaotic white meta in her body is divided into gold. Her personal ability soars. Between the eyebrows of the gathering vitality in the pubic region, 1 petal of the 5-petal plum is filled with dazzling gold. Space is shaking and changes. Gold reiki wraps around Lin Luoran. She can feel that the meta in her body is soaring. In just a few years, she will enter the middle period of gathering vitality from the early period. Other cultivators may give everything for this huge chance. However, Lin Luoran is not too happy. What else can she give? When Lin Luoran opens her eyes again, it is already early in the morning. The golden eagle is dead. Lin Luoran doesn't dare to look directly at its still body. The fragile Lin Luoran last night has been well hidden by her. Chapter 536. Mu Tianan and White Fairy are still worried when Lin Luoran is fighting with the Golden Hawk. Only Black Tortoise is calm, waiting for Lin Luoran's victory. In any case, this is a fierce battle that is destined to be won. Black Tortoise still hopes that the Golden Hawk can hold back a little, which means that Lin Luoran is already a qualified gathering vitality cultivator. The Gobi is once again bathed in the glow of the morning sun. At this time, the temperature is suitable. Gobi animals take advantage of the low temperature to go out of their caves to look for food. This is the best morning. At the foot of the distant rocky mountain, a beautiful woman slowly comes. With just a few ups and downs, she seems to be gliding on the Gobi. The long distance shrinks into inches under her feet. As she gets closer, people can see that she is covered with dried blood. Obviously, she was seriously injured last night. In contrast to her dejected appearance, her face was full of vigor. Gold Reiki swarmed in last night, which made her break through the early gathering vitality period and officially become a cultivator in the middle gathering vitality period. The advancement comes from the support of the gold Reiki swarmed in the Gobi and the great change of space. In the past, Lin Luoran must do closed-door training to stabilize the realm if she breaks through by external objects. However, she is not in the mood at this time. What she needs now is self-affirmation that she is not a puppet character in the script. She is a living person. Will Black Tortoise tell her the truth? Lin Luoran is not sure, but she has to try. You have advanced. Black Tortoise looks at Lin Luoran up and down with faint joy. Lin Luoran is non-committal, it's all thanks to you. Thanks to you, you have been paying attention to me since more than 300 years ago. You painstakingly led me to the secret land, used the snake monster to cooperate with me, negotiated with the golden hawk, and let it die to complete the gold of the 5 elements in space. Even Goldie, who brought me a lot of joy 300 years ago, was it you who led me to this place? These words choke Lin Luoran's throat. How can she make people care about her so much? Lin Luoran's look is not right. Although Black Tortoise doesn't know her character thoroughly, it has lived for a long time. Even a stone will become a spirit, let alone it. It readily admitted its arrangement, you don't have to worry about the golden hawk. For it, entering the space to make up for the gold of the 5 elements is the only chance to get rid of the confinement. In the future, it will also have great luck. Haven't you always wanted to find your family? The 5 elements are not complete, and Tong Tian Tower cannot be opened, where will you get the chance? Lin Luoran doesn't react much when she hears about her family. In the past, she could do anything to find her family and friends. After experiencing all this, the fog that always shrouded in front of her made her wonder whether the disappearance of the Lin family was also arranged. Just to provoke her to gather the 5 elements. Black Tortoise stares at her with gentle eyes. Are you thinking that the disappearance of your parents and your friends was also arranged like the soul of the golden hawk entering space? Lin Luoran hesitates for a moment and nods again. Even if she doesn't admit it, Black Tortoise will still see through her thoughts. Since she has decided to ask clearly, she has to be honest. Unexpectedly, Black Tortoise nodded. In a sense, it is indeed because of me that they can open the Tower of Babel and find the correct transmission coordinates. Lin Luoran's heart fluctuates slightly. Black Tortoise's acknowledgement is the first time she gets a positive answer since she was separated from her family. There are too many messages left by the crazy Taoist. They are short and mysterious, but Black Tortoise mentions a key word, transmission coordinates. Even if she has the star atlas, only the transmission coordinates are really related to the whereabouts of the Lin family and her friends in the world of cultivation. Black Tortoise ignores her excited look and says, but if you think that the disappearance of your family is to motivate you to gather the 5 elements deliberately because of this, you are very wrong. Think about it carefully. Why are you separated from your family? It's just that you have an obsession in your heart. You can't see through the illusions of the mortal world. You try to make your mother never separate from you as a mortal, so you decide to go to Mount Penglai. There is a warning in the records of Huaxia that 1 day in heaven is 1 year on earth. You enter the Penglai immortal world as a cultivator who has not proved the Tao. You should have been prepared. As for the invasion of the Alien Alliance, you probably don't know the fuse, do you? Because of the invitation of the Zhu Mountain disciples and your own curiosity, you rashly went to the Kalahari Desert. Of course, your friend slept for 100 years and forgot everything. More importantly, you were not careful enough when dealing with the alien consciousness body. Her consciousness attached to the Jade Star Atlas sent out the news about the Earth. The Alpha Alliance was the first to intercept this news. This is an important reason why the Alien Alliance suddenly attacked. When you returned from Penglai, the Earth had already become a scorched land. You decided to open the Tower of Babel again. Of course, you must gather the 5 elements. Killing other monsters is your life, and so is Gold Hawk. Why not kill a monster with a higher personal ability? You think that every word and every move is arranged and ordered by someone, but who can control your thoughts? Once many causes are planted unconsciously, one day you will reap the fruit by yourself. We help you on the road of personal ability enhancement, but your growth experience is real. Growing up in such an environment, you have your own judgment of good and evil. Your unique view of right and wrong also determines your reaction to dealing with things. I have been wandering in the human society for these years. I have heard people say that character determines fate. For you, this is the most true portrayal. No one forces you to go to Penglai, to the Kalahari Desert, or to gather the 5 elements of space. You see, these are all your choices. Who can arrange whose fate? Black Tortoise finishes slowly and Lin Luoran's face is as pale as paper. Since she came back from the Penglai immortal world, she has always regarded herself as a victim. It is painful for her to be separated from her relatives, but what about those countries, families, and nationalities that completely disappeared in the interstellar war? She rebuilt the faith of the Earthlings and thought she was righteous. However, she never thought that the Earth destroyed by artillery fire might be the cause she planted. Lin Luoran feels that she is like a small leaf flowing and undulating with the water. She has never had such a feeling of being doomed eternally. Black Tortoise says everything, which makes Lin Luoran's primordial spirit unstable. Both White Fairy and Mu Tianan are stunned. Character determines fate. Mu Tianan is deeply touched. If it weren't for his stubbornness, he would have turned into a cup of yellow soil before the new era. How could he have struggled all the way to today as a half-monster and half-demon who was not accepted by the world? However, he never regretted his choice. After living for so many years, he was able to see her again. He also did his best for the revival of the earth with his long life and soaring strength. His whole body is stained with indelible darkness. This is his subjective choice. Since he doesn't destroy it, why does Black Tortoise blame Lin Luoran for the invasion of the Alpha Alliance? Does one person have to be responsible for all the coincidences in the world? If the Tao of nature is really fair, it should be someone like him. Lin Luoran is too stupid. How can she bear such a heavy burden? Mu Tianan thinks about it and asks, even if what you said is true, because of her carelessness, the consciousness attached to the Jade Star Atlas sent a message to the Earth, which was intercepted by the Alpha Alliance and finally launched a war. According to your theory, character determines fate. She was careless, but did others force the Alpha Alliance to invade? It takes 2 hands to clap. I happen to know something about the past. The fake Saintess was about to leave the Earth with the Jade Star Atlas in neon. Lin Luoran and Senior Jiang didn't stop her. After the fake Saintess left, will the force coming here be better than the Alpha Alliance? Maybe the situation of the Earth today will be worse. Or, in this boundless universe, the Earth we live on has already disappeared. Is the lost land in the extra-dimensional space really 100% sure to be preserved? Many factors intertwine to lead to today's result. Why do you only mention the small cause that she participated in? Mu Tiannan's words are clear. He dares to contradict Black Tortoise, which finally makes Black Tortoise look at him seriously. Although Mu Tiannan has many shortcomings, he is not too stupid. He dares to put things into action even at the cost of being a devil. Black Tortoise feels that it has to re-evaluate Mu Tiannan's future. Mu Tiannan's words fall into Lin Luoran's ears. Although it is refreshing, it can only comfort her. Black Tortoise is in her heart. Its question makes her speechless and frustrated. Black Tortoise puts Lin Luoran in the oil pan for a while to wake her up and extinguish her self-pity and self-denial. It feels that it is almost time to add, he's right. The message sent by the extraterrestrial consciousness was only a small part of the message. In fact, the catastrophe of the Earth is inevitable. This catastrophe can be traced back to the collapse of the immortal world, the migration of gods and Buddhas, and then the disappearance of the primitive world. In the middle, the Earth's Reiki is exhausted and the alien civilization is plotting against us. Chi trainers and the monster race are troubled by both internal and external aggression and the decline of the cultivation civilization. In the bottom, the earth is about to die. All the people who stay here, whether they are humans, animals, plants, or even this planet, will be destroyed by external forces. Many years ago, a little girl accidentally learned about this catastrophe. All gods and Buddhas in heaven have abandoned this planet, but she stubbornly loves it. She can go to the real Xiaoyao cave, but she stays here to change the final catastrophe. She said that such a beautiful earth can't be destroyed even if it can't be used for personal ability enhancement. She spent a lot of effort and personal ability to deduce and paid a great price to plant good karma bit by bit. She only hoped that it could bear good results after 10,000 years. You must have guessed this little girl. She is the former owner of the sacred pearl. She comes from a poor family, has imperfect qualifications, and is not very beautiful. However, she is the stupidest, Momo. The earth is already empty. If you want to avoid the catastrophe, you can only break it and then build it. You are the good karma of Momo's hard work and good karma. You are the lucky chance of breaking it and then building it. Momo is stupid. She did all this without the support of that man. So she is not in this world now. No one can force you to do anything. She has her own arrangements and expectations. Lin Luoran, you are not Momo. You should also have your own life and choices. It says that you are not Momo. You should also have your own life and choices. It says that you are the good karma of Momo's hard work and good karma. You are the lucky chance of breaking it and then building it. Lin Luoran is stunned and speechless. White Fairy and Mu Tiannan look at each other. The three of them may be the first witnesses to hear the complete truth in thousands of years. When things become related to the rise and fall of their birth planet, neither White Fairy nor Mu Tiannan can get a word in edgewise. Although they can't figure out how the rise and fall of the planet has anything to do with Lin Luoran, a gathering vitality cultivator. Lin Luoran is silent for a long time. It is so long that she almost falls asleep. Then she says again, I have always suspected that maybe I am the reincarnation of Momo. But you said that I am not Momo. Her words are too simple, but Black Tortoise can understand how much doubt and denial it contains. It can understand this kind of feeling, but it begs to differ. Who is Lin Luoran? It is not just a simple name symbol. Your origin, growth experience, character, family, friends, and social relations determine that Lin Luoran can only be you. As for Momo, there is no one in this world who is 100% the same as her. Lin Luoran's mood fluctuates so much that she doesn't notice that Black Tortoise's answer is somewhat different. It doesn't directly deny or affirm. Mu Tiannan's mind is much sober when it is about Lin Luoran. He wants to say something, but he closes his mouth for some selfishness. Black Tortoise pauses for a moment to let Lin Luoran digest what it said for a while. Then it continues, as for you being the lucky chance of breaking it and then building it, this matter has something to do with the mystery of the disappearance of gathering vitality cultivators 1,000 years ago and the place where your family and friends went. You may have suspected that the disappearance of gathering vitality cultivators 1,000 years ago was because they went to the spiritual world. This kind of speculation is somewhat ridiculous. Immortals can't be immortals unless they go to the spiritual world. Gods and Buddhas set up the spiritual world to select talented chi trainers. It is not on a planet but a small plane. It is limited to divinization cultivators to ascend to it. Cultivators who haven't passed divinization doom can't go there no matter what method they use. This is the law of the world, which can't be changed by the will of cultivators. It is ridiculous that there are still cultivators who try to sneak through the space node to the spiritual world. There is a cultivator who took action. Although he found the node, he was lost forever in the vast starry sky. He could never return to the earth, let alone wait for divinization doom to ascend to the spiritual world. When it says that someone tried to sneak through the space node, White Fairy's face turns red. Mr. Wuye, who is like a banished immortal, once had such an absurd idea. When Black Tortoise says that someone once found the space node, but he was lost forever in the vast starry sky and could never return to the Earth. White Fairy and Lin Luoran look at each other. They both think of the remains of Danling Taoist they saw on the wild planet. It turns out that Danling Taoist didn't succeed in divinization. He tried to take a shortcut, but he was lost in the starry sky instead. Black Tortoise hasn't talked about ancient times for a long time. It is rare for someone to listen carefully. It becomes more and more energetic. More than 1,000 years ago, gathering vitality cultivators disappeared. More than 1,000 years later, the world of cultivation gathered cultivators with single Taoist root of the 5 elements to open the Tower of Babel. They went to the same place. That place is in the gap between the human world and the spiritual world. It is connected to the spiritual world and gets some nourishment from the spiritual world. It is also more suitable for personal ability enhancement than the earth. However, it is connected to the earthly world. Dragged down by the bad environment of the human world, it forms a unique world. The civilization there is strange. It is not only about cultivation and chi training, but also inclusive. The whole world is not inferior to a small version of the universe. The success rate of divinization doomed there is much higher. Your family is there. As long as you gather the 5 elements, you don't need to be in the divinization period to open the Tower of Babel and go to that unique world. Now you know that because you are the lucky chance person designated by Momo, as long as you are willing to let me supplement the earth of the 5 elements for you like the gold hawk, you can go and reunite with your family immediately. Lin Luoran's heart is pounding. In front of her is a huge and tempting cake. She is not a saint. She is very protective. She wants to reunite with her family as soon as possible. This is her only obsession after returning from Mount Penglai. She really wants to promise Black Tortoise. She is cruel and doesn't care about Black Tortoise's life or death. However, Black Tortoise's words keep coming. It says, "You are the good karma of Momo's hard work. You are the lucky chance after breaking. Momo is stupid. She did all this without the support of that man, so she is no longer in this world now. The little girl whose smile can warm people's hearts is no longer in this world." Lin Luoran still remembers that Momo held her hand. Her palm was so cold. Although she was smiling, she seemed to be sad. She once saw Momo practicing calligraphy in the Book of Great Truths. She repeatedly described the boredom of a character. She practiced secretly until she was backfired. She once heard Momo's laughter spread all over the corners of the forest, making the grass and trees want to be moved. Momo is delicate, kind, and diligent. Some of the most important good qualities of a human are reflected in her. However, such a beautiful and flawless little girl, as Black Tortoise said, is no longer in this world because of her stupidity. The word Momo means tiny. The stupidity of the little girl who tried to change the outcome of the catastrophe with her own tiny power is no longer there. If Black Tortoise doesn't tell what she has done, it may never be known. Lin Luoran has enjoyed the good karma she planted, the sacred pearl she left, and the care of the robe as a souvenir. Can she really choose to reunite with her family at this time with a clear conscience and ruin all the efforts of the silly girl? Lin Luoran is questioning herself. Her personal ability enhancement is not for taking on heavy responsibilities. However, she has enjoyed the efforts of others. If she turns away indifferently, she may live in the self-blame of her soul every day for the rest of her long life. There are too many smart people who can choose to go higher and burn bridges after crossing the river. Lin Luoran is not one of them. She seems to have to make a stupid choice again. If I refuse your proposal at this time, can I still reunite with my family? Black Tortoise finally shows a sincere smile. Its simple face looks particularly sincere. You are also a silly girl. Between small family and great love, you have actually made a choice, haven't you? Great love? People are selfish. She doesn't know what great love is. Maybe it's just because she is a little more stupid and soft-hearted than others. She can't bear to see the beautiful planet with too many memories completely turn into dust in the universe one day. Chapter 537. Small family or great love, you have actually made a choice, haven't you? Lin Luoran chews on Black Tortoise's words repeatedly. In fact, whether she chooses small family or great love, she will have regrets. The only thing she can do is to give up the choice with less regrets. In this way, how can she hide her bitter smile? Mu Tiannan looks at her profile and captures every subtle change in her expression. It seems that he has experienced a difficult choice with her. At this time, he only feels that he has lived for hundreds of years but still lacks vocabulary. He doesn't know what kind of comfort can make her happy. It has nothing to do with them. Only White Fairy is much calmer. Hearing Black Tortoise's words, although the two choices are different, in fact, there is no contradiction. If Linny stays to clean up the mess of the earth, how many years will it take for her to reunite with her family? Black Tortoise smiles. One of the three fools finally thinks of this key problem. Use her space to continuously restore the Earth's environment. If it can be done within 100 years, you can come to me when the Lost Land opens in the next 100 years. I will tell you the way to open the Tower of Babel again, the Lin family, and the landmarks where those cultivators are. Only 100 years. Lin Luoran frowns. This price is not too high. Just like Colin Weir's promise to be a servant for 100 years, it is just a moment for cultivators to live a long life. At this time, she has no time to think about whether the Lin family can smoothly break through and advance in the next 100 years. Just like they have been waiting for her in the distant unknown for 300 years, they continue to wait for her to reunite. The gray fog on the earth is thick and lingering. It will be rebuilt in 100 years. What should I do? Black Tortoise clumsily points at itself. The gray fog is dead energy. When the catastrophe of the earth comes, the whole planet is surrounded by dead energy. Only by rebuilding the 5 elements of the earth and forming an endless cycle can the dead energy be completely defeated. What you are doing now is to use the mother lode of the 5 elements as nourishment to treat the symptoms of the disease on the surface of the earth. However, its shell is sick and its inner body has long been weak. If you want to cure it, you need to use the 5 elements you gather with space. The last of the 5 elements, earth, is me. 100 years later, when the Lost Land opens again, I will personally fill in the earth of the 5 elements. Space will change beyond your imagination, and the problem of earth will be completely solved. You can go find your family without any regrets. White Fairy takes a deep breath. Cultivators fight against nature and fight for survival. Robbing resources is a small matter, but it is not uncommon to kill people of the same school as stepping stones. Everyone talked about pursuing the Great Tao, but a long lifespan was also the driving force for many cultivators to cultivate. In such an environment, it is the first time for her to hear a mighty monster with Black Tortoise's personal ability to calmly mention death. Lin Luoran can't accept it for a while. She can't stop Gold Hawk from killing itself. Can't she stop Black Tortoise from having the same idea? She unconsciously says her thoughts, which makes Black Tortoise smile indifferently. I told you that if you want to make up the 5 elements, you have to kill a strange beast of the earth. Just because they are not familiar with you, you can kill them calmly. To tell you the truth, I didn't migrate after the spiritual world was opened in the old year. When the doom of divinization came, I beat it back. I asked to be a guard in the Lost Land. I have been free for so many years, and I have made this decision long ago. Whether you search the Lost Land or go to the monster forest of the Penglai Immortal world again, the strength of those strange beasts of the earth is below me. The earth is thick and pure. It can carry everything. The 5 elements are endless. In the cycle of the 5 elements in space, the earth must be the strongest. Except for me, there is really no other choice. You don't have to be sad. I don't do this for Lin Luoran. I just feel sorry for that silly Momo. As I said before, sometimes death is not the end. Gold hawk kills itself. On the one hand, it gets rid of the confinement of the lost land. On the other hand, when you make up the 5 elements, the beast souls of the 5 elements in space will have a great chance under the great merit. You are not a fish. How do you know that it is not what the fish wants? Black tortoise is a mellow elder. It solves Lin Luoran's doubts one by one without any impatience. These secrets of the world are told. Lin Luoran's mood fluctuates a few times. Black tortoise doesn't hide it, nor does it comfort her. These words still soothe her mind like a trickle. If Black tortoise can face life and death calmly, why can't she accept the separation of a small family for 100 years in exchange for the boundless love of the earth? Be willing to give up. You can only get something if you give up. Lin Luoran's state of mind trapped in a corner comes out of confusion. At this time, she reaches a real free and easy state. She gives up, and she will get something. The damage to the ocean of consciousness caused by Han Weiya and Lin Luoran's Taoist root is quickly recovered after her state of mind jumps out of a certain level. The fog in the ocean of consciousness dissipates, and it becomes clear again. The exquisitely carved pavilions, terraces, cranes, and clouds were all gone. What was left was the boundless, primitive land, and the clear, broad, and clean sky. Abandoning prosperity and returning to simplicity. There are pleasant green mountains and clear waters between heaven and earth. There are also deserts and Gobi. These scorching and evil lands border on each other. The world is never built with beauty. If you can only see beauty, it's because you are self-hypnotized and ignore the ugliness on the side. Beauty and ugliness, good and evil, nobility and poverty, they are clearly defined. Sometimes they are entangled with each other and it is difficult to distinguish them. However, it is undeniable that the world will never be truly complete without one side. Under the sky, the fly Apsara's painted sculpture with the same face as Lin Luoran returns to its original simplicity. Lin Luoran can feel the real compassion between its eyebrows and eyes. She thinks that the most shocking light spot hidden between the godhood-painted sculptures must be the teardrop left by Momo. Black Tortoise says that Momo is no longer in the world. Lin Luoran thinks whether Black Tortoise knows that at least there is a tear of mercy left by Momo. It melts with her and they will never be separated. Momo will also be remembered forever. When Lin Luoran opens her eyes again, she looks at the barren Gobi with a new state of mind and sees its vitality. The state of mind that she can't match because of her rapid advancement has been made up. After a long time, she realizes that what she gets is far more than what she gives up. Lin Luoran realizes something. The people around her obviously notice her change. Mu Tianan and White Fairy are naturally happy to see that she gets rid of the knot in her heart and makes progress because of it. Even Black Tortoise looks at her with relief. For a short moment, it seems to see the shadow of another little girl through her skin. Black Tortoise's relief is infected with sadness again. Naturally, it diverts its attention. Well, what do you want to do with this thing? Black Tortoise opens its mouth and spits out a ball of light. Baiji's primordial spirit is shivering in it. It originally says this to White Fairy. White Fairy is stunned. She lowers her head and thinks for a long time. Then she says, before you say this to Linny, I want to torture her primordial spirit with all kinds of torture. Only in this way can I relieve the hatred of losing my body and being separated from my lover. But you said that in the world, there must be gains and losses. In the past, he and I couldn't get rid of our obsession. We didn't want to abandon our school, but we also wanted to have the best of both worlds. We could break through his grandmaster's opposition and be together. After a long time, we still tasted the bitter fruit because of our greed. If I have to choose between dealing with Baiji's primordial spirit and giving up, I am willing to exchange it for an answer. Baiji is overjoyed when she hears this, but Black Tortoise understands. You want to ask, did Yi Zhao successfully pass the heavenly tribulation? White Fairy nods. She can die if she hears the truth in the morning. She is too greedy, but she can't catch anything in the end. Yi Zhao is cold-hearted, but he has done a lot for her. Even if she has no achievements in personal ability enhancement in this life, the only thing she owes is Yi Zhao's friendship. Since you are willing to give up and exchange an answer, isn't it too unreasonable not to tell you the truth? Black Tortoise's tone is more or less appreciative. It no longer only cares about Lin Luoran and doesn't take White Fairy seriously. At that time, his divinization doom came so suddenly that even I was alarmed. You can imagine how bad the situation was. The famous Mr. Wuya in the world of cultivators is one of the few outstanding figures in the cultivation civilization. Under the covetous gaze of all the demons, he passed the divinity transformation stage tribulation that other cultivators could never pass. Little girl, with you, it is not impossible for you to fly to the Spiritor's realm and reunite with him. He went through the divinization doom that other cultivators could never go through. White Fairy only hears this sentence repeatedly. As for Black Tortoise's encouragement after that, she subconsciously ignores it. When she turned to cultivate as a spirit, she knew that she probably had no fate with the Tao in this life. She hid under the bottomless abyss and was motivated to gather remnant souls because of the Soul Stone. She hoped that one day she could find the real murderer who plotted against her and know whether he had successfully gone to a higher world of personal ability enhancement. Two persistents almost get the answer on the same day. Her enemy has a very bad ending, but her lover still has a bright future. For her, this is the best reward for 1,000 years of persistence. White Fairy feels that at this moment, she should have no worries. She is gratified, but she doesn't know what to ask for in the following time. Lin Luoran notices that Black Tortoise left some leeway in its words. Do you mean that White Fairy still has a chance to fly to the spiritual world? Lin Luoran is not knowledgeable and she doesn't know where White Fairy's way out is in this situation. Will there be heaven's doom for a spirit body to take her to the spiritual world? Black Tortoise laughs. Before the catastrophe, there was still a way out for those who cultivated as a spirit body. At that time, there was no spiritual world. What she had to go through was the great heaven's doom. If she succeeded, she would be a spirit immortal. Now, the world of divinization only targets cultivators and monsters. The world of immortals collapsed, and there is a spiritual world between the new world of immortals and the mortal world. She is in the mortal world, but she can't wait for the great heaven's doom. Lin Luoran is a little confused, but White Fairy doesn't feel disappointed because she has no hope. Linny, you don't have to worry about me. I have expected this result. If there was a way out for cultivating as a spirit body, Baiji's primordial spirit didn't have to attack Lin Luoran. Black Tortoise smiles faintly. Do you really see through it? White Fairy nods. What can she do if she doesn't see through it? Some things can't be changed by people's will, and they can't be forced. Oh, since you have seen through it, I don't have to waste my breath. Black Tortoise's tone is very provocative. Probably because they are in the same boat, Mu Tiannan can't help but want to help White Fairy. Senior Cultivator, if you have a way, please say it clearly. We all owe you a favor. Black Tortoise sneers. What's the use of you owing me a favor? If it were Master Mu 300 years ago, he would definitely be furious at such contemptuous words. After so much, he has changed a little bit of his reckless temperament. Hearing Black Tortoise's contempt, he still looks calm. Mice have their own ways, and insects have their own ways. Senior Cultivator has a high personal ability. If there are some trivial things that you can't do by yourself, I am willing to do my best to serve you. Black Tortoise snorts. Your words are better than singing. But after all, it changes its opinion of Mu Tiannan a little bit. At first, it thought he was thoughtful. However, after getting along with him for a few days, it finds that this half-monster and half-demon, who is obsessed with Lin Luoran, is actually not feminine. On the contrary, it appreciates him a little. Black Tortoise glances at Lin Luoran and says lightly, you have to remember your promise. It completely ignores Mu Tiannan. However, the three of them all know that Black Tortoise has actually agreed with Mu Tiannan. Didn't you put her body in space? Lin Luoran nods. When she left the mausoleum in a hurry, she didn't want to leave White Fairy's body alone there, so she did take it out. Hearing Black Tortoise's words, she moves the crystal palace out of space. The desolation of the Gobi makes this coffin look like a crystal. In fact, it is a warm ice jade that Mr. Wu Ye went to the northernmost land and painstakingly found. It can protect the body for 10,000 years. White Fairy's body seems to be asleep. Under the scorching sun of the Gobi, her corpse's cheeks are redder and her lips are red. Well, isn't this the solution? Black Tortoise points at the crystal coffin. Lin Luoran thinks about it. You mean, let White Fairy still use her original body? Is this okay? Her body looks intact, but it doesn't seem to be alive. Lin Luoran feels that Black Tortoise's proposal is so incredible that she has never heard of it. Unexpectedly, Black Tortoise nods affirmatively, of course. Her physical condition is special. Her primordial spirit was shattered by the snake monster, but the gathering vitality in her body was still there. Therefore, her school sister could directly possess her body after taking the snake fruit. Coincidentally, after her school sister's plot was exposed, the cultivator surnamed Yi chose to extract her soul. It was similar to what the snake monster did at the beginning. Both of them only hurt the primordial spirit living in the body, and the gathering vitality in the body was completely preserved. Of course, once ordinary cultivators lose their primordial spirit, although the gathering vitality has meta, it doesn't have the consciousness to continue to protect the body. Over time, the body will slowly die and die. There are many treasures in the world of cultivation that can preserve the body. The most famous one is the Green Mountains Jade. It not only has a miraculous effect on making elixirs but also can consolidate the soul. However, the world doesn't know that there is warm ice jade. It is an extremely precious spirit treasure. The last piece left on the earth was found by Yi Xiao and carved into this coffin. In fact, warm ice jade used to be used by powerful people to preserve spirit medicine. It is a closed jade box. When it is closed, the time in the world inside the box stops flowing. Until the day it is opened again, the effect of the medicine will still be the same as the moment when it is put in. Yi Xiao has really done his best for you. This warm ice jade is also a rare treasure that everyone in the primitive world is fighting for. It keeps the state of your body at the moment when it is put in. Only when the person in the coffin really wakes up can the crystal coffin be opened from the inside. In other words, your body in the coffin is still alive at this moment. Except for the old Black Tortoise, who knows about warm ice jade, no one knows how many ancient books Yi Xiao has read and how much effort he has put in to find such a rare treasure like warm ice jade. White Fairy used to feel that her wish has been fulfilled and she has nothing else to ask for. However, at this moment, her mood is totally different. Yi Xiao is not like other female cultivators' Taoist companions who give small gifts to please or sweet words. However, he is far better to her than others. She doesn't know how much he has suffered to find the warm ice jade. However, she knows that he no longer owes her. The one who owes him is her. White Fairy is a soul of departed. She can't even accurately convey her choking emotions. Senior cultivator, if there is such a chance for me to get my body back, what do I need to pay? Black Tortoise is happy. Then tell me, what are you willing to pay? Don't learn from someone and fool me with empty promises. Someone is not guilty at all, so he naturally has no pressure. White Fairy lowers her head and thinks for a long time. She doesn't know what else she can give up. Lin Luoran is anxious, senior cultivator. Black Tortoise sighs, forget it. You have nothing to exchange. Why don't you give me your school sister's soul of departed and the power of the soul you have cultivated for hundreds of years? Then we can talk about it. White Fairy agrees without hesitation. Everyone present doesn't care that Baiji's primordial spirit is screaming in the light group. There is a cause and there is an effect. Lin Luoran hurt White Fairy's primordial spirit in the past. Now it is not too much to pay back with her own primordial spirit. White Fairy's power of the soul has been cultivated for hundreds of years and it has condensed into an entity. Lin Luoran feels it is a pity. However, White Fairy agrees. Black Tortoise nods approvingly. Since you are willing to give up your personal ability, it will be as you wish. Isn't there a snake fruit left among the spoils you desperately snatched from the poisonous pool? Swallow it, and your wish will be fulfilled. However, let me tell you first. After your soul returns to the body, all your personal ability in the past will disappear. You have to start all over again after thousands of years of hard work. The future of personal ability enhancement is unknown. You have done so much, but you may not be able to smoothly gather vitality again in the future. Let alone divinization's doom, you will ascend to the spiritual world and meet Yi Zhao. Or, when you go through all kinds of hardships to do it, Yi Zhao is no longer in the spiritual world. He may even have changed his mind. What will you do then? White Fairy still nods without thinking. Yi Zhao did everything in the past. Did he ever think that he must have something in return? What she is doing now is the same. She only wants to follow her own heart and really work hard without any scruples. Lin Luoran admires White Fairy's choice and feels touched. She takes out the snake fruit and hands it to her. White Fairy swallows it without hesitation. The snake fruit is very strange. White Fairy eats it as a soul of departed. The power of the snake fruit is transformed into light spots and absorbed. The soul power in her body begins to flow away and it is fixed by Black Tortoise with gas. When White Fairy disperses her soul power and only a phantom is left, the power of the snake fruit leads her to fly into the crystal coffin. Her soul returns to the body. Will White Fairy wake up? There is a faint red light flowing in the crystal coffin. It is the snake fruit that makes the body and the primordial spirit which has not been seen for a long time fit together. Only if it succeeds, the crystal coffin frozen in time will be opened from the inside. Lin Luoran is in tears. She is not only happy for White Fairy. On the other side, someone also finds warm ice jade for Mrs. Lin to freeze time and keep her mother here. Black Tortoise suddenly asks Mu Tianan in a voice transmission, you know that there is no light ahead. Are you still persistent? You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.